Thailand is a very, very big deal, and we've seen just how loud they can be for EDG, and that's a lot of pressure,
Yeah, they were taking over the arena, and Kang said in our opening piece as well about how it's an honor and a burden to have the kind of eye of the fans that are focusing down onto you. But for EDG, they're a very unique team in my mind because they don't crumble under the pressure. They actually just form into diamonds most of the time. When the going gets rough, and when you play against even tougher opponents, I feel like they just lock in, and the discipline comes through, the mechanics come through, everything starts coming through the deeper they get into tournaments. We saw that at Champs last year. I was counting them out nice and early into Seoul, and I was made to look like I had egg on my face. And I ain't talking about Josh, who sat over there.
Okay. Yeah, in regards to EDG, I really like the face that they're showing here today because I agree with you. They become even bigger when they go against big opponents because regionally, and I remember overview, there were some of the things that I see and I think this is not going to work against this and this. This is like very specific because of how they play and what agents they play also in China and how is like maybe not up to speed with what the rest of the world is doing.
Do you like what we saw in terms of comms?
Maybe not up to speed with what the rest of the world is doing.
Do you like what we saw in terms of comms against Liquid?
Absolutely love it. The fact that they are able to change things like this, like bringing in the Euro for Kang. We know that he had played it regionally and he had won one map out of 5 that he had done, but it was something that definitely was on the to-do list for this event. If you want to thrive, you have to be on the Euro. And not only on the Euro, you want the Teco, you want the Vice, you want to be up to speed with the rest of the world.
Yeah, they've definitely caught up. They used those 2 weeks and they've used them well, and it's out of this unknown right now. There's questions.
哪些改变呢？
我们不会管他们队伍的换阵，因为我们经历过5杠26，我们也拿到了全球冠军赛的冠军。就是我觉得我们的心态和韧性都提升了很多，就是算是质的飞跃，所以我们不会管对手是谁，我们只会去做我们该做的事。
Actually, I mean, we have faced against, we have got through a lot. We don't really care about their roster change. You know, we have been the 526, but also we are the championship right now of Champion Seoul. I mean, we got our resilience right now. We got our mentality. We have changed a lot. We have a huge change right now.
Well, thank you very much for your time and good luck.
I mean, of course they're not going to care that much the fact that Jorg joined G2 because Kakuka, Kang is still here, G2 is still here, and they're performing great.
Yeah, exactly. I was mentioning earlier, yes, it's great to see Kang picking up on the Euro. Love to see Chicho in the performance that he was also having individually. Having this kind of freedom, this kind of comfort with an agent that you have not played that match and definitely you could think was not global stage ready is amazing to see.
Yeah, and he doesn't slow down at all. I mean, we're seeing the op shots there. He's got to be one of the flashiest players to watch as well. I mean, his aim is so unique in terms of how many flicks he takes on top of it. But Chichu in this matchup, listen, the student versus the master, he got his chance to play against Nats, his idol, right? And he dominated him. I mean, he dropped, I think, 30 kills into the first map, which did end up going into almost record-breaking OT. But listen, the second map, he just carried it forwards as well, top fragging, I believe, onto his team for Pearl. So both him and Kang have been delivering onto that high level that we expect from them now at this point.
And for so many teams, going up against G2 will be like, oh my god, I don't want to be, you know, like I can feel the nerves, or I know that they're performing dramatically well. But for EDG, they know that they are the team to beat and not the other way around. That's the way they see themselves.
I hope they carry that level of confidence and mentality onto the stage because what we saw of G2 though when they went up against Trace, I don't even think they let Trace have a moment to get into the game. They just completely overran them. Do you think that there might be a risk of that happening again for EDG?
No. I don't see EDG to be a team like that. I think that they trust a lot in their protocols, the sending 3-man and just going in for the fight. The Trace is always going to be there and they perfectly know what to do in those situations. It's almost as if their plans are made for not having 5 players alive.
Yeah, I mean, I think that G2 are such a heavy prep team, and they're just going to be focusing probably on their own game coming into this because there's so many unknowns with what EDG could potentially be running as a comp. But as I mentioned earlier, like EDG are a team that sometimes they can play down to their opponents, but they definitely play up. When their opponents are really, really good, they're going to pull on their star players, putting up amazing numbers. The discipline's going to be there, the trades are going to be intact. So EDG are fully capable, I think, of giving G2 a really, really good game and testing them.
There is one thing that I think can be known is because EDG, they have a permaban, right? If they don't take away the Abyss, they might have to go Pearl, which means, Bren, nobody wants to play Pearl against G2. I think that would be a silly thing to do in this tournament.
It would be. The trouble is with G2's map pool, it's so wide that you kind of have to let in at least Pearl or one of the other maps that they really enjoy playing. And they have had experience about what G2 like to play. I mean, Team Liquid copied G2's comp the other day. So they have
BBL's comp.
BBL's comp.
BBL, did BBL
did
go
first.
first? Okay,
BBL
my bad. I wasn't familiar with BBL's game. I'm sorry. I wasn't familiar with the game, but they have experience. It's not going to be the same because G2 are going to be more well versed on it, but they have experience playing against it. That's more than some teams can ask for.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that for today, the nerfs are not going to be a quantity that they should be worried. They already see themselves as
Well, this is it. It's time for the second banger of today and to send it down to stage to bring out our teams. Here is G2 taking on EDG. It is a rematch from Champions 2024. G2 and EDG have to face each other once again for a spot at playoffs and a chance to lift the first global trophy of the year. It is not going to be easy.
No, and EDG, remember what it's like losing on the international stage. The last time that they did so was against G2. They will not let it happen again. Right now, they're the defending champions.
Yeah, definitely so. But they're going to be remembering as well that G2 were the one team that made them bleed when they were looking strongest.
Yeah, and I'm so intrigued to see the map vetoes here, like we've spoken about already. G2's map will just look so good. EDG have to pick their poison here.
After what I saw yesterday on Abyss, I don't think that they want to go there.
Yeah, but then they have to go to the Pearl if they take away the Abyss. And to remind you guys, EDG do come in here as the first seed because of what happened at the draw. And it looks like they picked their poison. We are going to get Pearl instantly.
Yeah,
Pearl.
exactly. Oh my god, a little bit more chamber.
And Bind as the second map is also kind of interesting because, listen, G2 have been banning this now in their most recent 2 matches, but I feel like they might have just left it open as a bit of a trap play because G2 can play Haven as well. They lean away from it sometimes, but I'm worried a little bit for EDG.
I wanna run into the narrative of what we were seeing in the previous match of like Pickett leaving split as the last one for DRX. I think that for G2 this is kind of like a similar situation. The Bind, as you said, they banned it in the previous last 2 matches, but it's a map that they've been leaving open. They have not played it yet this year, but they were happy to do so. It's just the other teams in America that didn't like the idea.
Yeah, and also EDG, they just don't want to go to Lotus either. They decided to leave Fracture as the last map.
So interesting because I feel like there is a gap between the Chinese teams and the rest of the world with Fracture because it was out of the map for a year and whatnot. Many things have changed. What is not going to be changing,
no surprises,
is the compositions in both of these 2 teams. Again, I see Leave on the chamber. I personally run.
Yeah, this is going to be such an interesting game as well, and if EDG have done a bit more preparation as well, there's potential then for, I think, to really punish Lee from his setups of the rendezvous, the TP. It puts the chamber in predictable places on Pearl. There's only so much you can really be tethered to those spots, so there's potential for nobody to really play spoiler to him, I think, as well, with the salvos at work. But this is going to be a bloodbath, I think, from beginning to end, all the way.
And the head-to-head between these 2 duelists, between Jogamo and what he was able to achieve in Americas, in Hong Kong, coming back into the international stage.
Well, I hope you guys at home are hungry because it looks like we've got some eggs in a pan on the menu. Enjoy this one.
That was far too good. Thank you very much on the desk. And I kind of have to highlight this one. Clash of the Titans, Battle of the Best, call it what you want. This is going to be one of the best games here today.
Yeah, you have 6 players in the server here that have hoisted a Champions Trophy at some point. You've also got the only team to have beaten EDG when they won at Champions last year. That was G2 in the group stage. We're seeing it again in the group stage, the Swiss stage here. This has got Grand Finals preview written all over it.
It certainly has the pedigree and then some. But the proof's in the pudding, and we're about to dive into this. On the attacking side, EDG, of course, meaning G2 on the defense.
Look at this, they dodged the recon dart at the beginning. This shows that they're pretty aware of how Trent likes to play over towards A main. It should be unexpected, and they can jump onto him as soon as they take contact.
Trent gets to keep his life here. Looks like he's trying to back towards A. He was looking like he was indecisive, and he's punished on that. Effective trade, at least for now, until nobody tips the scales. Sight looking somewhat secure, but the spike did get dropped. So the plant should be on the cards next.
This is going to buy time for the rest of G2 to get close. Jorg flashes out immediately. They don't have much more util for the retake.
Yeah, looking for that reposition towards Art here. Two of them posting up in this post plant. Chichu dedicated towards the site, but G2 starting to take those steps, trying to be bold about it. Chichu, the first contact made. Jorgamo clears. Jonah P bringing it all down.
Let's go!
What is that for a beginning?
That's a 1v3 that shouldn't be happening. What a way to open. If that's a taste of things to come, we've got a treat before us. Red Bull Clutch coming out in a way that I feel like G2 should have been able to trade this kill. The final shot though through the box, that one's beautiful. He does isolate the duel onto Jonah P wonderfully, doesn't he? They need, I think, heroes today, EDG, because for starters, on Pearl, they're playing a composition that is a little new to them. They're playing against a meta leader in G2, despite the fact that they've got the tape advantage and they can do some anti, as you saw in the pistol round. I mean, that was a very specific to G2 kind of pistol they pulled out. They're gonna need heroes to step up, I think.
And luckily for EDG, they got them in droves here, but see how this lands. I want to see this kept clean. G2 can certainly get under the skin, but for now, that's lovely. bangkok want to really kick this off, but still, this is looking wrapped up with a bow. Very nice. Yes, they lose down two, but a round secured.
Oh my god, that is filthy from bangkok as well. I don't even know how he saw the second player that he flicked to.
I'm sure we'll get that one back. I need it in a replay.
Yeah, that is disgusting. I know that it's just an anti-eco couple of kills, but oh, that's fast. And I think we should be paying a lot of attention to Kangkang's Yoru, because it's not something he's played a lot of, and it seems like they're pretty heavily indexing into it. And he's going up against Jorgamo, who looks like a second skin. Yoru, he's so comfortable in everything he does on that.
Natural talent. But Kangkang, again, it's great seeing this guy put with a question mark towards him. We know what he can do in those traditional roles. Now, forced to adapt and overcome, and so far, passing the test, at least in the early stages. Here, Leaf can be forced away. Early pressure through towards doors.
They're so aware of where Leaf wants to play, and now they've completely isolated Jonah P.
And Brent was kind of discussing that on the desk as well. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Leaf there. How much room can he bring to the plate? But again, this is a pretty deadly round, even in the hands of EDG, with those two rifles there. Simon and Kangkang going to be the ones to watch. Close choke point being controlled. Jonah P, good for it. Leaf as well secures that push through, but the split's still on the way.
It is, but they managed to reinforce at the moment. Leaf, he misses one shot, looks to finish up with a classic.
Yeah, this is lovely. And again, Kangkang's still alive, there's always a threat, but I want to see G2 look robust in this, look very refined in their approach, but Kangkang's having none of what they're trying to sell. Already going to take away Leaf, and there is a Vandal with Smoggy. They're not out of the woods just yet. Jorgamo does succeed in his fight, leaving it down to one man. This would be outrageous. Oh, that's a start, but 30 HP is so little to play with. Valen and Trent surely have got enough for this one. Half achieved Valen there. Makes it hard work though, G2 with their first.
It would have been simply revolting if EDG had managed to win this round in another 1v3. But it feels like that kind of game where we're going to have to be paying attention in case the players pull that kind of stuff out. The quality is there from any of them. The help came incredibly late for Jonah P, but it did eventually arrive. But my eyes are looking to the other side of things. Both Yorus now have their ults online, and EDG can craft some kind of fast, aggressive play. Take a look towards Nobody's utility as well to see whether Kangkang somehow plays off the back of that. And do they dodge the recon dart at the start again, like they did on the pistol?
Too much given away so far. Kangkang taking a ticket out, but opting to then pivot straight through middle. So this will be, again, Leaf potentially under pressure, but there is a couple of players on this side now, but actually Kangkang wants it. He fancies it, read it like a book, left open, and Red from start to end, and now advantage looking good towards the side. There's still 3 players here from G2, and Jorgamo wants this back as well. Where on earth is he going to go in this?
He repositions over towards A main. He's done this a couple of times in Americas. It's so difficult to play against.
It's outrageous from Jorgamo trying to get right behind them. Gets away with one, but he's made this at least a bit of a contest. But the numbers still so good for EDG. Plant on their side. Valen not clean enough, and EDG stamping authority on this. Jonah P can make a go of it, but a 1v3 again. A lot to ask for, and Chicho doesn't want a bit of it.
couple of spots there where the G2 players are losing duels. I mean, you pointed out, especially on Valorant, he needed to be much cleaner to pick up that kill. But Jorgamo's repositioned into A main. The whole point of it, I mean, for starters, this is ridiculous. To pick up Leaf. He must have thought that Kankan was just about to spring out right in front of his face. He just misread the situation. But yeah, that reposition that Jorgamo goes for as well with his ultimate, the whole point of that is that you're supposed to be able to stay alive and be a constant threat that causes those post-plant players to have to look in both directions, and the retake comes as a crunch. When Jorg goes 1-for-1 there, it's actually not good enough. He needs to be playing his life a little more in that kind of spot.
Yeah.
But I think what we're seeing right now is that the EDG players are just looking a little sharp at the start, and that is a dangerous thing.
It does fill you with a little bit of fear, isn't it? And it's filled G2 with enough that they want a very early timeout. 3-1, they've seen enough, don't like what they're seeing. I think a very fair assessment. EDG have come in with an incredible game plan thus far, at the very least. Now, whether or not that continues, I can't tell you the future, but this does look exceptionally strong, which does make me worry about the rest of the map pool as well when we talk bigger picture. But right now, it's time for a solution, and G2 have been good at coming up with solutions, though. This isn't a one-trick pony. They do have depth, and they played with this composition plenty of times. I want to see that lend towards it.
I think it's one of those things as well where Kankan being able to get up his ultimate for round 4 just provided the perfect opportunity for them to run a crafted set strategy out of the playbook. And he did get a little fortunate with Leaf going for that reposition too. That was a gifted kill to open the round up. You can call it a misplay from Leaf, I suppose, but he managed to provide them with a pick at the very beginning of the round, and now he's going for the push-up with Jorg, looking to see if he can make the difference, but only 4 bullets in the Headhunter.
It's a lot to put on man's shoulders. Right place for it, and I do want to see this diligence from EDG and their anti-ecos. I want to see them kept as big as possible. Gonna get past the first hurdle, plays in Jorg mode here. Nice flash, doesn't get what he wanted. A quick kind of evacuation, at least for Kankan, gonna keep his life. Yeah, a little chipped up, but still they've read this early play. They've already forced them back towards site.
It was a nice idea from G2, but go ahead and shot.
Yeah, that's kind of the long and short of it. There's a player still on the back of the side. Jorgamo's still really trying to find those small opportunities to play with, but I think his life is over. It is. EDG, crystal clear on approach, looking very well rounded. No threats to really be found. Flanks here, but it's already considered. Lovely stuff. EDG looking locked in here on the flawless round.
Chichu getting that kill with the wallbang also gets his Visal online, and that's how these snowballs happen. Round 4 off the back of a great bonus, even though they didn't get the win, they were able to get up the Orioles, and that caught them the next round, a huge eco swing round. This time, it's a pretty similar situation, whereas in the previous hugely important round we saw both Yorus with ultimates, and it was Jorg versus Kankan. Now it's both of the Vice players with their ults online. We're going to get to see that dynamic play out. The important thing about having Visal on the attack side though is that you need some level of map control to be able to use it effectively. You can see a lot of pings through the middle of the map here. EDG clearly planning on doing something with the Prowlers to take space, push Leaf back. It's that same bait and switch setup. And it's seen both of them.
This feels quite red, and if anything it spurs on and encourages EDG to take the space that has been given to an early denial of control there, removing Leaf's utility, forcing them a little bit more into the unknown. Question marks now will be placed across the map.
They're creeping up towards where Trent is holding.
Timing on the outro at least. Big info off of that. You can now see maybe a little bit more dedication on the rotation. Ult on top of ult here, so this is about to get rather messy, isn't it? Does EDG continue forward? Do they pause? It looks like Kankan wants to go for it, which feels a little too bold for me, but a plot is being facilitated. Jonah P still wants more. Still on the site. Still controlling the space, and G2 looking to try and pressure this as quick as possible.
They've also got full art control, nicely planted for art as well. Leaf needs to be a disruption in the flank, and it's shut down.
Oh, Chichu so on the money! Takes away Leaf, that removes one of the really viable approaches of holding this. Jonah P trying to stick through, at least get towards top, will take the damage. Chichu,
let's go!
EDG looking near unstoppable.
They're playing so boldly too, you called it out. They were going forwards even though Kankan didn't have a primary weapon to use. They just knew that if they get into a post-plant situation, they're going to be good for it. Full art control. Leaf, I feel sorry for him to some degree because he only had a stinger in that spot as well. It's not like you're going to be going on that big flank with the tour de force. But that is a wonderful round from Chishu. And EDG just keep the snowball going. They've got the read right now.
that momentum is looking lethal. I think a lot of us kind of, I don't want to say put it in the hands of G2, a lot of us very impressed with how they looked. I think a fair assessment. EDG, of course, these quick changes, obviously adapting to the new meta, showing they have some validity, but hold on, okay, Jorg's gonna get Chichu. Bring a little bit of blood here, but still Kung once again leading the Astral just to ensure this farm goes in, but does it, if anything, encourage G2 for a swing here? Yeah, looks like it does. Having a little bit of a glance, nobody looking lost in God knows where, but Kung back sight. Flash ready, he's going back for more. Chorgamo deals with him, making something out of this. Finally, a little bit of a fight back from G2. Simon playing those really dangerous odds, trying to play towards the back of the side. Even just to alive, nobody still towards Chorgamo. Denied on the defuse. That's not going to get towards half yet. Leaf going to be put under pressure. They've got to still do something about this, or do they just call their losses on this one? The defuse is there.
Leaf sticks it all the way through, tanks the damage, similar to Jonah P in the previous round. That is actually a really tough spot to play for EDG. So G2 recognize that this play is going to be, they're in a 5v4, and they're getting the Master Card Thrifty at the end of this. Obviously, they've got lighter weaponry, but you've got 2 Cosmic Divides up. So what that means is EDG have to play on-site post plants, but that means that you're within range of the Stingers, the Sheriffs, those kind of things. So you want to take long-range battles, but you can't because of Valen's ultimate. And in the end there, they just got stuck between a rock and a hard place.
We got ults coming in. Kung's got his. We've got nobody with theirs. We're gonna have the operator out for Leaf. Already right off the rip, you've heard it going in. And it's pacey. They're not pulling any punches with this.
Kung uses ult to be able to get into secret here. And then there's a little pause, waiting to see if there's a response from G2. They're running fast rounds when they think Leaf has an ult.
Yeah, but they've got to identify where these players are. They are so stacked towards pit. Trent is looking to maybe play off what Jorg's going to get here, but they're going to have to do this together. Good synergy, it's there! Trent with a good pick towards Simon. Now the rest of G2 need to stay up to this sort of pace here. Finally, Jonah P going to get a clear kill, no trade. Kung and Chichu after a lot of. Chichu has been golden so far, and a big opportunity. Oh, he's still fighting! A huge 1v2. He knows about Leaf. Does he know about Trent still? 7 bullets, 17 HP, and a bit of a dream. But Trent can make this one all but over. All but tears in the rain. Trent trying to call him forward. Chichu. Yes!
Yes!
Goal!
That's another disgusting round from the EDG players. We've already seen a 1v3 from Smoggy earlier on. By the way, still the only kills that Smoggy has. And Chichu pulls this one out of nowhere. His ability to isolate these fights is just sublime.
He's doing that against G2. He's making them look silly. We talk about fundamentals with G2. They're a team that's good on all of those basics. And he just divides and conquers. I don't know how the hell he's doing it.
Isn't that how EDG have found so much success over their time rising meteorically to the top? They take structured teams and they tear them to pieces. The second best team in China, Trace, is structured, is pretty similar to G2 in terms of the style. And yet when you watch them play against each other, Trace do great against everyone else in China. Then they play against EDG and they can't hold a candle. They get torn apart. These nice defensive setups and the crossfires, the thinking, the analyst in the armchair, it doesn't matter. EDG have just got the X factor in some of these spots. And if you want X Factor, look no further than Chichu, who's taken all of the momentum from his game against Team Liquid. He's space jammed Nat's talent, took it straight into himself as well, and he's become twice the player he was. He's 12-3.
I kind of expected from Kung. I'm so used to seeing him, leading the way, being that explosive player. I'm happy seeing Chichu play like this. That is so sick.
And that's similar to how he was playing at Champs. I think if Kung had not dropped like a kill record in the VO5 to win Champions, I think Chichu probably would have been the tournament MVP.
Bang on.
Would have had a bracelet on his arm. Got to be a bit annoyed at Kung for taking that away from him, honestly.
How dare you?
Every time he sees Kung wearing it, he's like, that's my jewellery you've got around your wrist, actually.
Human. This, I don't want to say it's a formality, we've seen rounds, but I've got to give credit here, EDG looking quite clean in these moments. There was obviously that conversion in the diffuse that did come in, but a very tricky predicament, but as it stands,
That's a
bloody
beauty.
hell.
And remember, they won the Thrifty earlier by getting a very similar kind of pick. They got the kill on Chichu.
Okay. Paying attention. Show me a little something, G2. Let's give us a couple of signs of life here. This is your map pick.
They've got the stack completely in the right position. It's a super deep vice wall over towards A main from Jonah P. And Jonah's then jiggle peeking art. Allows 4 players to stack in the right spot. Nobody has led them into a death trap yet.
He has. Go down with the shift though. G2 waiting. Reveal. Trent gonna find G2. This is looking like a slaughter. And it is! Trent and Valor line them up so easily. Monstercard Thrifty coming right on in.
And that's the second one for G2.
Yeah.
And this one, to some degree, less impressive than the previous, less chaotic. It was essentially just G2 having a right read, or at least a decent gamble,
Yeah.
and EDG unfortunately falling prey to it. That's a crazy shot from League to open. Maybe we'll see that same vice wall being played more from Jonah P though, because that was the information that allowed them to get that stack off. And EDG are going to have to be privy to that. It does look like he's going to go for it again.
Okay. Like it. But dealing with these gun rounds has been a whole different ordeal. But looking shouldering this for a little bit. No, Trent's had to have been sent away now. Jonah P.
The thing with this vice wall as well is that you don't really realize it's there. Because normally, you look at Concav's position, this is how you take A main. And you think you have A main control, but actually G2 know that you're not seriously pressing forward and looking to find the angles. At least not yet.
Allow a little bit more support towards Trent if they do try and then springboard through art, which has been a heavily contested part of the map here. Keep Leaf feeling a little bit more secure in this, allowing that exploration over towards B-Long as well for Jorgamo. So still going to deal with what's coming their way. It's all good and well planned, but it's going to be disconnected now. You're going to have at least a little bit of an isolated player towards main, but the wall's going to drop pretty soon. But the spike is being held off.
Soberall here as well, just to aim to deny the plan. Allow them to get in position with a retake. Decent damage done, and Jorg, he's actually threatening the flank here. Didn't commit to it.
Oh, back of the site though. Be bloodied by at least one, but the plant's in. But this feels really unstable. EDG can't play that comfortable poke plant towards art. You're gonna have Trent controlling over towards Pit, and this late presence by Leaf almost offsetting the timing. We know that Chichi's been winning this fight out more often than not, but this time Leaf's on the case. Simon, too many targets. This time G2 are able to play this back.
This time Jorgamo's able to threaten that flank action, pull eyes and attention without committing to it, without having to put his body on the line. And like you pointed out, Leaf just finds the perfect timing through art. That's something he's gone for in prior rounds and been stopped. So this time all of the pieces worked. I love this as well. Good awareness from Trent, because that smoke allows you for some tricky timings through from front to back side. Well played, well controlled.
Okay, they forced a timeout from EDG. There's been enough rounds now. If you kind of look at the last 4, 3 have gone towards G2. So, you know, time to slow it down. And this does bring up the question, obviously 6 rounds is already pretty respectable. You're happy enough with it. Obviously you want to get as many as possible. But we do, I at least do question the depth now with EDG with this comp. How much do they have to kind of lean towards? Are they happy enough to try and kind of find adaptations here? Because we were kind of, well, at least alluding to the fact that G2 do have reps in this regard. They have a lot more comfort over time with these sort of compositions. So for EDG, I want to see what they come back in with.
We really don't know what the depth of EDG's setups look like with these. We don't know how long they've been practicing with them either. We know that they adapted after the grand finals and put some time in. They had 2 weeks extra compared to the others, but probably took some time off for Chinese New Year. We really don't know if they're pulling strats out of a super deep book or whether they specifically just pulled out 2, 3, 4 for this match against G2. That's something that's going to get tested as they go forward into playoffs, but also as the sides flip. I think it's more possible that G2 will be coming out with anti against what they saw from EDG's defense against Team Liquid, when the attacking team can have more of the impetus over the tempo of the game. Because really G2's comp kind of allows you to come towards them. They set Jorg and Leaf up on weird angles, off angles, these kind of positions, and they kind of give you the offering of, come at us, let's see if you can dismantle what we're going for. Another thing to point out though as well, Pansy, is that the ult cycle has stopped now for EDG. So whereas they had that momentum with big ults almost every round, they're not going to for these last 2 rounds of the half.
It looks so heavily focused again towards this middle approach. I mean, this is a pressure point they want to continue at least implying that they want to follow in with. Once again, it's Leaf and Trent will be dealing with the vast majority of the early contact. Actually, Valorant wanted to join in on this and does very well. The additional body kind of removing some of that pressure on this. They're losing a lot of the punch now.
They might be tempted to go back through double doors. They haven't been contesting this too much, and they've been using a prowler when they do. But Leaf's been paying attention to it. they have been favoring these A splits. It's what they found their value with.
मैच देख के मैं
Yeah,
सोने
they've got the foot
जाऊंगा
in the door now. They've got at the cost of vast majority of their util, but they've got now at least a step towards the side. But you can see a little bit of exploration, maybe trying to find where Leaf may reside.
I
No,
8 बजे
took
शो
a
में
look.
पहुंचना
on the
पड़ता है
timing.
exhibition
I
Is
do like
anybody
that.
aware?
They've been having his number. This time he's got the drop on Simon, but it's going to cause at least Smoggy to now be in a bad position for him. It's rough. You've got Leaf behind, you've got 3-4 players in front, but nobody is behind them. They have no... Oh, God! What an absolute nightmare! It's gone from, what could have been a dream to a waking nightmare in the end, and G2 are right back in this game.
Last round before the switch.
Just don't talk about that one.
Give us the replay. Give us the replay. You know you want to.
I mean, that is so tragic because it's not just a whiff, it's a whiff that could have potentially turned that round on its head. I thought he was even going to play with a little more patience. He already had that kill, dead to rights, basically. Could have tried to get another and then swing back onto Trent. Yeah, that's the kind of play that just makes G2 even more confident than they were.
Okay, it's step by step, it's round by round, but G2 have suddenly turned what felt like an EDG masterclass into a very close affair. Pressure towards Long. This time going to force away Jorg.
Yeah, they're actually a little lucky that they forced him away there because I believe nobody didn't have the money to buy drone or didn't. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe he got broken at the start of the round or something.
Yeah, but you don't expect that from Leaf. This time, Len way deep down off that contact towards Long. He's taking the space there, reading the game well. Jorgamon gets picked out of the crowd, taken away. Sight looking like it's on the platter, but they don't like what they're seeing.
Obscuring vision.
Oh, G2 have been very fast with reinforcing the B site, and especially when you see this drone, you know that Trent's rotated probably all the way from A, right? That's where he's normally been playing, around mid, A, and Jonah P's position is just containing them. They know exactly where EDG are going to end.
Yeah, no doubt about it, but a missed shot for Leaf does give them at least a chance forward, right? Maybe a second go, but he fancies a second. Right of the cherry, big shot, nobody goes down, good trade. Valen falls, and step by step, the site's getting more and more EDG controlled.
Here comes Jonah.
Waiting for that eventual crunch, but they're looking towards it. Jonah P bides his time. We saw what happened with the patience before. Does it strike again? But these two players can't fall here. Leaf can't go down. Trent can't go down, and EDG want to remove them, but the eventual close comes in. Jonah P, hold on, it's all on Jonah P. How is this turned around? Kangkang and Smoggy lean forward, take the fight to them, and put Jonah P in a 1v2. Looking for the first Smoggy, ducks in, he's gone down for the 1v1. Oh, what is that? Jonah P snaps up to Kangkang, and G2 suddenly with a new lease of life.
If you saw that from Kangkang's POV, we'd be looking at another whiff similar to Nobody's in the prior round. He was on his screen for 2 seconds, something like that. I mean, maybe we'll see it in the replay. I imagine they'll pull it instead from the Clutcher's POV, but that is a rough way to go out. Still, a 6-6 half is nothing to sniff at.
Looking at that, bloody hell. Oh, that could just bring that little bit of life to him. But still, before we go anywhere, we do need to check in for the Omen player moment with Jorgamo. Stick around, it's 6-6.
Hey everybody, it's me, your boy, Jogmo from G2. Yeah, we just came off this win against Trace Esports. It was a little shaky at first because, I mean, it's been like a year for me to be on the international stage. But for the teammates, I saw all the confidence because they were here just a few months ago. Yeah, I had champs. Against Trace today, my personal power level for the day was like 70%. Like, it was there. I was utility, supporting, entering, fine. I had a couple good rounds for myself, but the rest of my team, I think they're like 80, probably 90. I think everybody was at the higher level than me against Trace, which, yeah, that's why I balanced out the team, I think.
Wait, they managed to hold in the door. Jorgamo though, from the back line, gonna take away 2. This is his side already. Maybe a third. Yeah, it's a third. He's gonna make up for the last round by basically getting you another. Jorgamo is ripping them to shreds.
I always start slow, but I make sure the team's always good. You know, I make sure I support, do my personal job in the team, and then eventually when I know all the plays, all the ideas, everybody's mental around me, that's when I like surpass them all and I can show them why I was a champ at one point as well. I told my teammates, my IGL, I'm gonna be MVP one day. I'm climbing to the top again, that's my goal.
G2 starting to wake up after what was a very dominant beginning for EDG, but on this side swap here, where is your mind going now we're going to be seeing them on the other side of things?
Well, G2 really settled into that once EDG ran out of ideas, specific anti, and that ult cycle. But now we're starting into the new half, and there's a potential for them to run something interesting on a pistol round. Find a bonus that works for you. It's pretty tough actually to get super aggro on the defense side of Pearl. It's a big map. You're also playing against a double sentinel composition that's going to have trip on one side, wall on the other. But if EDG can come out with some good ideas, that's what got them off to such a great start. By round 8, they already had all 6 of their victories.
Jumping. Yeah.
They're going to flash here for Kung Kung to play off. Device flash.
Okay. Now drone in. Spots the flash. And it's okay. We were all excited about a flash, but apparently it's a mass go over towards A. I have no idea what's going on there, but by the end of it, we are still down in a 3v3. Spike's still with Leaf, so they can at least move away from this, but Kong's timing could be incredible here.
Especially because they're going to get stalled out by this Vice Wall. If he gets baited, or do they double swing over it? That's the only way of... Yeah, and now Kung Kung's locked on the other side. Rough for Kung Kung.
Has been the headliner thus far, and it feels like he is going to get his moment. Kung Kung is there. The wall just about dropping in time. Chichu a little bit forward on the flash, but does eat his teammates, but still going to know that they're going to be towards the back of the side. He's trying to buy his time. Playing Kung Kung is laboured. It's Chichu to try and deal the blow, but look at the HP! It was messy! But EDG come out on top.
So another pistol round. Not necessarily off an incredible anti, but I mean, let's take a look at what happened over here in A-Lane. Leaf had to try to clean it up. It's a bit weird from G2 actually. They were fighting over both extremities of the map at once. I wonder whether EDG had a bit of a read on that, because I mean, so were they. Either way, EDG come out with a good start to the half, and that's the same kind of thing that got the snowball rolling. You know, they're going to be able to build up economy, they're going to start building towards ults. I mean, specifically, Smoggy is the closest, and his is probably one of the best for retakes.
I'm not really going to harp on about the fact that EDG need like momentum and bits like that, but it feels good to come back into these sort of... What the hell? What the heck is that? Just chilling out there taking fights. Okay.
That was just sheesh.
Yeah, it's got to feel good for EDG after what was a very much a G2 flavoured end to the first half to come back in and reset that. Valorant first strike and leads the last one down with EDG. Quick to it, full standing.
So much to do.
So on the pistol, G2, they were using their drone to apply a bit of pressure towards B, and then they walked into A main. CVG have a similar read themselves on what they want to do here. The bonus round is an excellent opportunity to start. Didn't have a better back in your favour. We're already leading 8-6.
Yeah.
And this would be a huge scalp to take on map 1. There's Pearl, I think most people think G2 is best in the world on that map.
I think that's a really fair assessment. Incredible.
Four player final right now. This is where they found the value before on the pistol. But this time, it's only Valorant home. The rest of G2 just follow the drone over towards B.
Just steps, but it's G2 before Leaf with the first. And that does cause problems. That's a massive amount of space now that is available to G2 that EDG will have to try and re-clear meticulously.
Yeah, I think I prefer Chishu playing his life a bit more in that situation. You know that your A main players haven't found anything. They've got to be towards mid or B, and you need to stay alive.
Whoa, Kung Kung, why do I get nervous? There was a second when I felt he could have had just God-given timing, but it does go the other way, and they look like they're going back towards B now.
That's a completely free site. EDG are just hoping that they fall back into their laps on the A. G2 was so slow. I mean, this reminds you back of what we were doing in 2024, I think.
Concealment!
Again, caution being displayed here. There is, of course, that scoreline disparity. Not much, but you don't want to be making errors up against someone like EDG. You give them a chance, they will make something of it. And Leaf's the one to be going hunting here. Hearing these steps, good chance to farm up 3 away from ult currently. Oh, this is lovely timing for him. Crowd loves a bit of it. Yeah, oh, okay, all good, Leaf. All good for Leaf, lovely for him. Ult locked in, ready to go.
I'm wondering whether that's the best ult to get online. I mean, G2 are normally so min-maxing with how they play. Is your attack side chamber ult really the one that you want to be charging up in that spot? I don't know. But at least they completely denied Smoggy getting his ult online. Kangkang's pulling out the defense side operator at the start. And again, it's the same defensive setup.
It's 4-1.
Apa
And now we've got a brawl on it. Okay, well. Massacre, potentially. Kangkang, yeah, didn't fancy it. Took the trip out of there, but Simon's now tucked in, and he's still fighting the good fight. I don't know how he even got one on that. Does get traded out, so G2 going to be continuing their pathway forward or pausing potentially. I'm looking at where Leaf gets to. Going to cause a couple of issues, keep those eyes turned across the rest of the map.
Once suppressed. Chichu doesn't have to really be that alarmed. The drone found Leaf. Wasn't in front of the wall. But it has drawn a lot of eyes. I mean, all three players from EDG that are around mid were looking for Leaf. He's going to play his life and make sure he doesn't give it away too freely. G2 making the mass rotation. I think they've read that this is the same defensive setup as the previous round on the bonus. And EDG are not responding. They're expecting a re-hit. This time though, Chishu, instead of giving up his life, he wins the duel against Leaf. That's going to add a very different dynamic to the round.
Map is certainly not available. How does Chichu approach this? Does he try and get ahead? I think he knows that those vines were coming in, try to play a little in front, but Trent's going to punish now the plants there. Trent, yes, down low, but much closer towards ult as well for him, but having to hold this in a 3v3 post-plant, be a little bit difficult. Playing it back in with Kangkang with that operator, not easy either.
Oh, they're not going to find very many opportunities. But this is a spot where G2 have got to be disciplined. Kangkang, he's going to start walking forwards, posting up on angles.
This is go time, surely.
Great smoke.
Keeps him secure for a second here. Jonah P able to kind of play around this, and he does have Valen by his side, but already, they're on the site here, all eyes towards Trent, but they've got to keep in mind there's players on the site.
Nice.
Kangkang's alive, there's always a chance. And Trent going to go for the ult here. 5 HP, but time is the imperative factor, and he's played it to the second. Great work from Trent, and around to even the scoreline up.
Nice.
Technically the Red Bull clutch there for Trent. Shouldn't have gotten maybe as sticky as it did, but that's the power of EDG. Having said that though, the fact that they went and committed to it takes the operator out of Kangkang's hands. There's only one rifle that's been saved from that. And if all three of those players that went for the retake had instead decided to save, yeah, they wouldn't have had the chance of victory. But they would also now have a much better chance heading into round 17.
This is where the pendulum swings. 8-8. Yeah, and EDG's money is absolutely just bin juice. It's Sheriffs and that Vandal there for nobody, but that's about it. And obviously Leaf, Voiceline kind of gives it away.
This push out into mid, I think is rarely going to get something good. Okay, fair enough. Color me surprised, but also I'm very wrong about that.
Oh my god, Chichu trying to pull out the heroics there. It's a whole lot of information, but it is at the trade of his life. But rotation's on the way. EDG want to brawl on this one. It's still nobody is your danger man. The rest are down to Sheriffs, and Trent's clearing out. Kangkang's gone down, and EDG now dwindle in numbers. Plants in play, and time on their side. I don't know how EDG break these crossfires. Jorgamo doesn't want to let it happen yet. G2 put a bow on this round. Comfortable for them off that initial skirmish. Yeah, Leaf went down, but still a round's a round.
Let's go for...
Now EDG though, rifles are going to come back up. They're not going to go for the investment of the operator. They don't have the cash to be able to do so. But G2 are just very slow, very meticulous with the way that they're moving forwards around the map. Even in scenarios where we've seen them have full access to the B site, they've still been super cautious, waiting for EDG to be the one to take the initiative. It's frustrating to play against. It makes it very difficult to figure out the good defensive rotation timings, util timings when you're playing against a team that's as cautious and contacty as G2 tend to be in the mid round. I think EDG want to opt into the brawls. The way that you're seeing them start a lot of these defense situations is 4 players over towards A main. We've seen that twice now, round 15, 16. Then in round 17, they put 4 people in mid. I know it's an eco and that's a normal strat to go for, but it implies to me that they want to get these rounds over and done with in the first 20 seconds. To stop Valen having the impact of his mid-round calling on the attack side.
All good and well, but as you said, the brilliant ability of kind of keeping control of that tempo and timing that G2 is willing to play with. It's still allowing them so much control going later into these rounds. Not feeling any rush on these balls. Able to somehow avoid it thus far, barring a couple of skirmishes. But a timeout called out for EDG. A couple of ults come in and a really impactful round about to approach. This is going to be double digits for G2. And yeah, I'm hoping we don't see EDG run out of steam here.
I want to see EDG trust more in their retake setups. It's very difficult though against what G2 run, because in post-plant you're going to be trying to go through the thorns that are coming out from Jonah P. But I'd like to see EDG set up for some kind of setup like that, instead of trying to win the fight in the first 20 seconds and win it in the post-plant.
It's not quite the full play stack, it's 3 towards B. G2, let's see if they go down that protocol list, right? Slow and steady. Showing some presence towards A. Getting those ult orbs, and then just kind of slipping back into the default.
Wow. A's looking pretty weak for EDG currently. Reinforcing it with nobody for a moment. Kong goes for his second gate crash.
So good.
Again, it's patience being tested here. EDG probably love to have a little bit more influence towards the outcome of the tempo of these rounds, but right now it is G2's, and they're very aware of what Kong wanted to do. Heads on a swivel, and they even have mid-control to boot as well. Simon can be denied approach. Quick hop, skip, and a jump, and they're away. Nice try, a little late. Okay, so trying to play back closer. I guess it's Leaf who's under pressure. We're going to have a couple of fights on a couple of fronts, but a couple of players trying to hold them back, but it's time to break through. No way!
Nice! Nice! Let's go!
What? No way! Man! No! God damn way! He knows where Simon is! He absolutely knows. He can get the reload for his 30 HP with 20 seconds. Can't believe I'm witnessing this. This could be unthinkable if Alan pulls this one off.
It's a win. It's a
Simon
win.
now,
It's
surely you're nervous. You're getting a little worried
us.
for the time. Surely the time. It's going to be enough. Simon keeps his cool and keeps EDG at level scorelines.
What a hero Simon is there. Shutting down Valin at the end of the round, but also it was his flank coming out through Art, which was his responsibility to cover, all the way back into B-Link. And it wasn't something that G2 were necessarily thinking about, that backstab play. EDG completely pinched them. Other than that, it was not looking like a great round for EDG there. They salvaged it. Talking about salvage, talking about scrap. And that is going to be their economy here. I mean, it looks like it's straight out of the junkyard.
They're trying to make it work, alright. We got a Judge, we got SMG Guardians, bits and bobs. I feel like EDG still might make it work really well though. I don't know, this team just always seems to pull it together.
Like I said previously, whenever the defensive team has a Cosmic Divide, you can actually force those closer fights.
Play the angle here. Clear towards middle. Leaf not deny deeper information, but shows his hand. Hot flash waiting, and Kung has a look, doesn't fancy it, but G2, they're on the way that time. Jorgo gets denied, and they hold the site.
Leaf's just been watching mid the entire time, wondering if somebody's going to go for that push. Smoggy with a Judge is sat on the other side of things. If Leaf creeps in here, surely there is no way that the G2 player is going to come out on top.
Aja.
Surely, right? Yeah,
Nice.
Okay, Smoggy. The doors are his. No one's getting past.
30 seconds left.
Now kind of forced in towards his B site. Still util here, so only 25 seconds. This is going to get really, really tricky. Time being bought. They got to go for this one. Trent just gets slung back around. I don't know how the hell that's happened, but Trent, Valin, and Jonah P going to try and make something out of nothing. 13 seconds. They're running too low on time. There's so little to play with. They can put a body to this. They can make sacrifices happen. They have the numbers. And overwhelmed, EDG take back the lead.
2 enormous rounds in a row there for EDG to be able to put themselves in a decent position.
आवाज नहीं आ रही है?
Their weaponry coming into this round looked so abominable, and that shot is incredibly crucial. You get killed with a Guardian, one tap at the beginning of the round. Smoggy finding his value over towards double doors, begging someone to walk through towards him, and it eventually plays out.
Nice.
They got ults as well. Lots to bank on, only one away from Simons too. This is starting to look like it's flipping around, but G2 still an opportunity to fight back, but their money's not in a great place either. I'm looking at Trent here. Sheriff in hand so far, and that's about all she wrote.
G2 have been putting quite a lot of pressure over towards B. Even when they take A main control, they are ending B a ton. And honestly, it hasn't been working that well.
Uh-oh. Nice little checkmate towards Long, going to keep that control and keep the information very much in EDG's hands.
Retake ultimate's a fantastic hit for EDG. But the Cosmic Divine, Kang is going to be able to take info, space, and everything with the Dimensional Drift, so you don't have to hard anchor over towards A. You can run some kind of mid-crunch.
Joby's gone down there. Yeah, quick hit and run for Kang, going to find him. And can just fall off this one. It feels like G2 are a little bit lost on the way in now. Still going to have leap towards middle, just trying to find them a bit of room, trying to pull these players over. Pull a bit of a fake, try and have some of that misinformation free-flowing, but I'm still worried about someone like Simon's positioning coming in. Someone like Smoggy's position. These are all still very strong, big information here.
Nice damage.
It's all about timing for Simon now. And he's got a bit of a bite on that one. He's got the ultimate play on too. It's 30 seconds. They have no idea. He's got flashed out though. He's completely out of it. Valorant clears, but it's back to the wall. Valorant, they got to make a go of this, and right about now, stall out towards the site. They want to buy time. Leaf's got a battle towards middle with Kang, but they need that plant down. Leaf wins his fight. G2 onto the site, and the plant's there. Are they going straight for this? They are. Chocobo, he won't be denied this time. He's stuck on the site. Battle bails him out. The 1-2 punch. G2 this time, pivot late round, leaving Smoggy in a near-on unwinnable scenario.
It does feel like G2, in terms of their macro, are a little lost. Now Smoggy, we saw the 1v3 earlier, but a 1v4's too much. It is too much. The score even. I would agree with your comment earlier that it does look like G2 are a little bit lost in the macro. You saw in this round, Leaf trying to push his luck over towards R, but it's this kill onto Simon, and the flash in particular, that lands perfectly and causes him to cower behind the box. That's what makes the difference here and allows them into the site. If Simon had been able to slow them down, then it would have been a very different story. G2 are trying to find the gaps, EDG are making it difficult, but at some point, they're still able to brute force it. Big fight in mid and not on an eco, maybe a bit more unexpected. Now they're backed off.
Yeah, there's commitment to that, but they're going to get a bite on the Prowler, but it's still going to be Kang waiting over towards this three-play side of the split there. Decides to take the quick evacuation out. Smoggy the next to be tested. Doesn't fall out for it, but he's still going to get his man. It's Simon now to try and post up on this, but he's got pressure on two fronts. The split and the timing is absolutely divine for G2, but Kang is still around on this side. And if this man is here, there's always a potential. There's a flank on the way as well. Nobody clearing through. That's a lot of space that he can confirm has nobody present.
Yeah, Jonah B's dead, so that wall is not active.
He is quick, isn't he? Kang is under threat though. They can't dig him out of this pit. They really can't. They're buying time with the ults. There's a lot of problems here for G2. 47 seconds, and the flank's coming in. Nobody makes his presence known. The spike gets dropped again.
He should have landed the death blow here. Trent forced out into the open. And Valid left with the spike to scatter. He might be able to find the route over to B, actually. The round may not yet be dead for G2. But it's going to have to require something monstrous.
And have you got that in you right now? Let's have the draw.
He nearly got the 1v5 ace earlier, didn't he? Had to be shut down by Simon. Simon's not alive. The logic's all there.
It all makes sense now. Don't know why I doubted.
Hello? He gave up on it.
Yeah, didn't fancy it. Got a bit nervous. Obviously, we know where they are. He got a little bit scared on the timing, but they are taking their time. Kang does have that operator, but nobody in Chi-Chu going to come back in with those Vandals. With that will not trip, the site feels small. Valen doesn't have many options. Does get to evade on the first. Not sure if he got spotted here, but Kang going to lead the way. Eye to the scope. Takes away Valen, and EDG post up 11.
It is so difficult to play back walls against a Taeho in that spot. You can put the Taeho missiles in a number of different positions and you just know exactly where a player is going to reposition to. What a play by Nobly. And actually, what great credit we should be giving to the rest of the team for delaying, for causing pressure, and allowing Nobly to get that timing.
And talk about a pivotal bit of timing. Look at where the money's going to be broken here for G2. This, I want to say, should should be 12 by all rights. You're looking at them kind of considering Stingers, Guardians, what they want to bring into this. Couple of ults to play with. They have options, but it's far from perfect.
It's going to be so tough for them to ever go over towards B as well against Kangkang's operator. The two players at the top of the scoreboard holding down B. G2 going to go 4-5 through the B link.
It looks kind of like it. Jorg's going to be towards the back of the side, so going to clear a lot of space here, but look towards Long. Look at how this is almost flipped around. G2's up towards it, nobody on the flank. It's Smoggy this time to take down Jonah P. Jorg's still here. These are Stingers. They can't take these long-range fights. They want them to get close, but this is uncomfortable.
They are going and clearing out spawn, so they own a little bit of the map, but it's not really planning for there. And like you said, Stingers.
This is so uncomfortable here. Valen trying to find a little bit of a corner to play from, but they are everywhere. But Valen does well. Takes away one. Trent chimes in, but EDG. Wait, Valen, I thought you got a little techie on that one. What on earth? How would G2 win this out? Nobody. How has this happened? G2, you had no right to win that.
Trent gets 3, but I'm more amazed by Valen being able to survive in his position. How has he managed to get one? He hopped up over the top. I mean, look, he dives inside the smoke, hops up over the back, and still ends up getting another. And yet, the double push into spawn just allows Trent an unexpected position, and they play around the obstacles and the smokes marvelously, masterfully.
And
how have they got this to 11-11?
They've broken EDG's money right back. This is unreal. This was a tantalizing prospect of a game, no matter what. But seeing the scoreline get to this against the odds here, G2 pulling it out. EDG now have to do the same right back. Leaf says no to the beginning. Kangkang's gone down.
It's a great shutdown, and there's double push in mid as well. They know that Leaf is fighting over towards B long, so they're going to try to apply some pressure over there.
Edge stuff like, well, I mean, nobody's got a classic. What are you meant to do here? Not much. Trent bulldozering towards the site. G2, no matter the odds, still powering forward, and Leaf's position is just dirty. Tough to handle, but does get cleared. Smoggy gives him a little bit of hope.
Amazing first shot, 145 on the aim punch. Here's where you see G2 go forwards though. They've taken that position over towards Secret and Spawn, just like the prior round. And again, it delivers.
You talk about against the odds, this is now stacking up against some G2. Blooming heck. 4 standing, 12 found. One more, it's done or 4 at least in regulation. EDG need this. How many, have they got any ults to bank on? No, one off from Kangkang's, but that's about it.
That ego round has just completely twisted everything up. I mean, EDG were the one at the start of the game looking like they had very good breadth, good individual rounds. Smoggy with the clutch, Chishu and Kangkang pulling out kills all over the place. Now G2 have answered back and have the map point to work with.
This is the pressure one. Leaf's got operator, Vandals throughout on the rest. EDG, goodbye here. Be enough. They'll set up on towards main. How long do they try and hold that? They've already decided against it.
Jorg's teleported away to go and reinforce Leaf's position. He's been holding a fairly passive angle at the start, wondering if Kangkang's going to peek into him. But now, he can start getting a little more aggro, getting a little more info.
So many question marks on the map. You've got the owl drone towards middle, you had the Vice flash towards middle, you had that early contact towards A, you've had now Util over towards B long. So much for EDG to try and figure out where this ends.
And the Prowler just got broken in A main. Valen's stuck around to break that from Simon, so Simon still thinks there's presence right now in A. In fact, you see the rotates coming towards A.
It's so slippery from G2, so cerebral. This puts nobody in a do-or-die scenario. And look at the crunch, there's nowhere to hide! G2, pixel perfect on the execute, but stalled out for a second. 30 seconds now as the plan comes in. EDG down a man, but does that make a difference?
As they back up, EDG have got all the task ahead of them. No Cosmic Divide, no way for Kangkang to get in. This has got to be brute force.
They've got it. They can do it. Kangkang the first to take those steps, even up this one. Leaf with a missed shot. And now
Nice.
chimes in with one as well. EDG never caring about the odds.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice. Let's go.
We can't do it. EDG taking us to OT.
I feel like like this game completely deserved it. Incredible from EDG to get back into that one. And this round, I think essentially decided by that early fight that Kang took. Even after nobody goes down, I was talking about Kang needs to be able to get back in, and he wins the Yoru head-to-head against Jorgamo. Jorg was posted up towards back halls, and they needed that ability to entry. But also got the dimensional drift back online. They've earned themselves another life. G2 could not capitalize on their one map point.
What a game. You love to see it. Two masters at work here, it feels like. 12 apiece. And we were questioning, or at least looking towards Kang's ability on that Yoru, how it's sitting right now. It's looking pretty nice. 24-18 already, nice performance from him. Chi-Chu right up there with him. And we go back in, we go for it again. EDG on the attack, G2 on the defense.
Not a particularly heavy hold of A main here from G2, not committing many resources to it whatsoever. Just relying on the fact that Jonah P's got his Vice set up here. I'm not even sure that EDG spotted the deep wall that Jonah was placing in regulation. G2 have gone for mid-info instead here.
Bravado to go for that. Open. I don't know what you're hoping for. Someone's there or someone's not. Very clear-headed, clear towards middle. And Trent wants back in. This is dangerous. He isn't alone. Oh, Valin on the bailout. Takes away Kang, and they can slip back a little bit deeper, but this split is coming in no matter what. Nobody. This is lovely work from G2. They are just funneled into death.
There's no way that nobody knew that Vice Wall was there. I mean, he just walked through it into his death completely. G2 have bamboozled them with the defensive setup.
Watching this has been masterful. Simon, it feels like a formality at 1v5. Very, very difficult. And it is G2 almost upping the ante there in OT.
Super, super clean from G2. And one of the main reasons why they were able to stack so many players towards mid and A was because Leaf just held the line on B the entire time. There was barely a frame there where Valorant managed to see that, and his crosshair placement wasn't even that great, but gets the job done. A little bit of panic, I think, towards the end as well. They thought that they had to react into the A site.
Go, baby.
Nobody had the wrong idea about what the defense looked like. And we see another glass cannon operator, this time on the other side, on the defense for Kang.
Big investment.
But also a big difference. Leaf was holding this area completely on his own, which allowed stacks towards mid and A. Kang's playing this, but with two players supporting, which means there is still a big weakness over towards mid and potentially A in the mid round.
I don't know if that Prowler caught towards A. I'm not sure if it actually identified where Leaf was residing, but a very diligent clear from Simon just to sidestep that one. Does want to lose his life for this, but does now note that there is presence still towards A main.
Art is so open. This defensive setup from EDG is a weird one. Chichu's coming over to try to pick it up. You're worried about Leaf, I suppose. They spotted a little glimpse of him at the start of the round over towards A main, so considering you've got eyes on the main lurker, it's not that bad. Do you really want to be doing this against Kang?
Apparently, yes. Friends feeling it, but they're not falling for it. As much as this is all a bit of a ruse, how much do they commit behind him? Oh, he's so hungry for it! You don't expect him to chase that closer. They're going into the stack now. Yeah, they are. They're still heading this way. This could be going again. We might be going again. EDG, they knew what was happening. Kang brave in holding it down. And we go again.
It's actually ended up being a remarkably similar defensive setup to what G2 ran. We noted that at the beginning of the round, Kang had 2 additional players with him. Now, by the time it got to only 30 seconds on the clock, Kang is alone over towards B. They've got the read, they've stacked over towards the rest of the map. And like you said, Trent on his own jump peeking that just doesn't create enough pressure to push Kang off the line. He's super happy taking the duel. And despite winning the round, here, EDG take a timeout. They're going to have a bit of a discussion. Because also, they don't really understand necessarily why they lost the previous attack round. They don't know why there was such a stack and device over towards A.
It is going to be interesting if they can identify that now in these moments. It is quite hard again, obviously if you're in the server itself, maybe the coach can identify it, maybe get a little bit of a read themselves, but not going to be easy by any means. But credit here to EDG in my mind, keeping up to this one, and G2's resilience is absolutely showing. both sides now digging incredibly deep, and it always gets a bit weird in OT anyway, as much as we are seeing a couple of those opportunities being maybe not missed by EDG, but not even notified. They don't even know about what's been working for G2 in some of these rounds. To try and capitalize on that here when G2 can still flip this up any way they want. They have depth on this map.
I am feeling good about EDG though, because considering we've played 26 rounds, I'm not seeing the lack of depth that I thought we might see from EDG with only a couple weeks practice, kind of max on this map with this composition.
It feels like it just talks to the caliber of this team that they're able to apply such brilliance so quickly. But we go in again, of course EDG this time around on the attack and G2 on the defense. So let's see if EDG this time can convert here.
He plays over towards middle. A bait and switch setup at double doors, but that's not where the pressure's coming through.
It's straight through arm.
Now, last time, the smoke has been popped in art, and then we saw Trent and Valen both double fighting. Simon wants to try to take the fight. They're putting bodies here, daring G2 to stop them.
G2 fancies it. We've been discussing their composure, their cool under pressure. They don't like what they're seeing there. It does put Jonah P on a bit of an island, but he does have util to stall, but speaking of util, having to respect it coming in. But buying the time from that push through towards art, still obviously worried there could be a split through from main. But it's not through main.
Yeah, they're going deep through mid. They're trying to catch somebody like Trent who might be playing in this spot, but Jorg is so aware.
How's he? It feels like he knows. The timing's gonna be. Oh my God, Jorgamo! There's no one like this man. Finding two. As it the awareness to identify the gap, to know of that possibility and play for it. But it's still a 3v4. We've seen EDG go up against these odds and still succeed, but in the smoke. Waiting is Jonah P. G2 will have to play this in! Smoggy, bring it back to a 3v3. Valen, this is a really risky play here. Does he get out? He does. Okay, I was a bit worried he might get isolated in front of that, but nobody's taking away Trent.
I was just spamming the powers.
Oh my God, but G2 now on the flank as well. He tried to get that pressure on the back line. Valen now has problems. Left, right, and the spike against him. G2 is an issue. It's so hard to clear. EDG. Man disadvantage, doesn't matter. Make it up to 14.
Gutting for Jorgamo to take those 2 kills and be so aware and then see the rest of your team kind of crumble. Because this awareness was spectacular to put his team at an advantage. Jonah, though, gets caught. He's playing inside a smoke at R, expecting EDG to go on a pretty fast timing on the A split. And once the smoke goes down, his wall hasn't been tripped in A. He just doesn't have the cover to be able to play around. That death is devastating, because then the whole of the A site is open and salvos spam, they fall in flowers. EDG playing with patience and composure, despite the fact that we're deep into OT. But of course, this team, they've demonstrated that they can do it all. There's nothing in Valorant that they can't accomplish. I suppose you could say, however, Champs is the only tournament that they have won internationally. They haven't won a Masters as well.
True.
And if they were able to win this tournament, they would join Sassy as the only players ever to have won Masters and Champs. So that's another piece of history that they're fighting for. I'll tell you who else is doing that, Jorg on the other side.
Very good, yeah, a little bit of kind of a mirroring moment between these two in that regard. And we saw EDG take that time out earlier. G2 now going to be going for theirs as well, getting deeper and deeper into this OT. And you're right, there is a lot of symmetry between these two teams, or at least between some of the players, especially when you talk about Jorgamo in this. But going back in, what the hell does G2 do now? They're kind of pressure's back on them here to step up to the play and step up to the scoreline, obviously trailing at 13 to 14.
Some of their attack round macro was difficult. They were finding it tough to get a read on what EDG were going for, but Leaf was always that player going for the exploration. This, though, could end up being a brawl in A main.
I feel like we keep saying that, but they just somehow, like, crisis of at the very end, but this time it looks like EDG is sticking around, and as are G2. This might be headfirst for Halos here, they're going for it, and so far it's EDG out on top. That goes down, Jorgamo, where they need him, he seems to get 2 every single time. Kunko and G2 this time around going to be asked a big question, ult's already in. Jorg wants to find this man. You don't want to leave him unchecked. Has he found a gap? Absolutely not. Bye-bye! Gets out of there, but he still finds his man! Leaving G2 in a world of trouble! G2 right back in!
I'm sure EDG would want that round back again. The thing is, though, I respect taking a risk in a round like that. You can't just play scared.
No.
You can't play to avoid losing, and this is the definition of playing to win. They wanted to close things out with a massive fight, but they all got caught by the flash re-clear from Jorg. Couldn't ask for bigger impact, and chasing down his counterpart as well. Euro TP, the gate crash, not getting far enough away from danger. You were asking what G2 could do, but EDG kind of handed it to them on a platter.
Oh, this game is living up to our expectations. Two of the heavyweights here in Valorant in this current day and era. Looking so good, inseparable almost so far. Of course, at 14-14. The EDG's chance to try and dictate the pace on this attacking side.
They're playing B as the weak side of the map again here, G2, but it's not with, you know, the operator going down the line. It's not even with the Vice Wall there. It's a really soft B setup right now. I think just playing into the fact that EDG have not been leaning in that direction very much. But this time, round 29, they're swapping things up. And Chishu, Smoggy are working their way down really quite deep. And when they realize there's no Vice Wall here, they might try to fully walk it in.
So this player's coming back. B. Fallon sees nothing yet. He might be punished on this. He's got to be really careful on these jump spots here. They are so close. Yeah, okay, bye-bye. You gotta run away. Get out of there. You're ringing the alarm bell. They're at the door. They're in the door. They're at the site. Trent gets a wild spray through the smoke, but now it's all gone to hell in a handbasket. Kangang is breaking down the door, taking away Leaf. Fancy go at Jorg. Turns the flash, gets back in time. But Jorg takes him down, just leaving Jonah P in a 1v3. We talk about pace. We talk about aggression. EDG showing we can do it just as well. Lovely approach towards that B side. And Jonah P, this is incredibly difficult. Already stalled out. You're feeling those chances dwindling here. Feeling like 15 is fated for EDG. One left, one right, the crossfire near on unbreakable. It's just gonna hold. EDG striking first.
And that's a great game plan. They called that one straight off the barrier drop. That wasn't necessarily a mid-round or an audible based off info. It was a game plan from the very beginning, called by nobody or maybe by Mongol during the timeout, to just take that walk down B long. Couldn't have picked a better round to do it. In prior rounds, they would have run into the operator or maybe even the Vice.
What's that?
And this one was perfect. Now it's on EDG to close things out. Map point on your opponent's map pick. Previously, they went for the 4-player fight in A main. It did not work. Now,
they do it again?
Can't fail twice.
Right? I think that's how odds work.
That's how stats work, yeah. 50-50, it wins or it doesn't.
Oh, flat chat and coin flips. I've heard things.
No, this one's a guarantee.
This is wild. They've walked so far here. There is still going to be that wall that is going to be a big signifier of something is up. I mean, the fact that you've got to double doors means something has gone wrong. It feels weird already. There's two players here for EDG. Can they close it out in this round? G2 knocking, and this time it's G2. Oh, back to back, looking for more. Oh, he can't get it. Jonah P going to quell that aggression. You're looking at nobody on the back lines. Dealt with. Trent wants to carry this on. Spots another. Just got to play his life here. Play smart here. Doesn't need to do too much. Finds a little bit of safety to fall back to.
Simon's going to deliberately get hit by this. This is going to slow things down quite a lot. And I think Smoggy's got to take the initiative. I think he has to be the person who takes first contact. G2 are all moving their way forwards.
Oh, and Simon's just not going to have that chance. That was almost 3 players at the same time swinging. Looking like this ain't over yet.
It's a great decision by G2, playing dynamic in the post plant, not just holding positions and crossfires, though now they can settle into that kind of thing to shut Smoggy down,
that's nice.
Shut him out. Every time it feels like this game is going to end, it doesn't. It can't. We're trapped here forever.
What's going on, guys?
Well, what is it that EDG are playing these kind of maps to open series? They did this against Team Liquid as well. A 16-18. Is this somehow going to overtake that?
Look, I've got nothing else to do tonight. I'm happy with this one. If it's going to be a good game, I'm happy to keep going back and forth. But you will see the exhaustion hitting in, that frustration over and over and over. So close to closing out, then brought right back up to 15-15. Having these heroic calls, these brave approaches. You know, who blinks first almost? EDG, another opportunity on this attacking side now.
Leaf is solo holding B, but without the operator. Wow. Somehow Jogamo was able to dip inside the smoke and timing that. He's He's giving away his position with the flash. These jump spots were the death of Valin in the prior round.
Leaf is... It does scare me a little, but it's fine. We're still seeing EDG kind of doing this 2-on-2, pressuring on both of the extremities at the same time, but you're looking at also where nobody's getting off to.
Yeah.
He's already straight up through art, taking a lot of space here, completely unnoted.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. I mean, he's got past the flash. The flash has not been used for information from Jonah P. In the big matches, nobody sometimes finds his moment and decides to just turn on the carry. He did it in the Chinese Grand Finals for kickoff. He might have his opportunity here again. He's asking his team to create pressure so that this area kind of gets cleared. Oh, but Trent might have a beautiful timing of his own.
This is a huge audio cue. Trent's going to hear it. He's going to find it. He's going to find Chichu as well. Now all of this split, all of this intention through art, this approach towards A could be red, but nobody fancies it. He's still trying to go towards this. Jorgamo, pop flash, has a look, finds nothing. Plant trying to be played towards. They've got it in. 4v3 though. Kung, Simon and Smoggy going to have to stand together. Sends back Jorgamo. Another chance here, down to 3v3 now. Simon's unrelenting. He fancies some more. He's going to get more. Lee's going to deal with it, but it's traded out again. 2v2. Time now starting to become a factor here. G2 need to try and disrupt these final two players. And Leaf the one put his body on the line, put his life on the line.
Nice.
Leaf,
No.
Leaf,
No way.
Leaf,
No.
Leaf. Oh! Unthinkable scenes.
There's only one position where you could be sticking that from, because otherwise it's one way. There's a tiny gap on the left side of the smoke. They've just let him get away with murder. And in what could be the most consequential round of the first map. This smoke, they've been running it constantly. Simon has been dipping inside of it.
Let's go, baby! Oh, all timed up.
The Red Bull clutch pulled out at the 11th hour.
Gives you goosebumps, that sort of thing. Is that the thing that changes the trajectory of this entire matchup? Kind of going blow for blow the whole time, but now the pressure is back on EDG, trailing this time. G2 round to the good, but a lot of pressure here through Art. Jorgamo is certainly not alone. He's gonna have a fight on this, and it's Smoggy, it's Chichu. Side by side, taking away the G2 players. Man advantage to EDG. Looking for a way back in. They try and fight towards the site, but they lose out as Jonah P left in a 1v3. And this match feels like it'll never end.
I mean, at minimum at this point, it's going to tie EDG's 18-16, barring something ridiculous from Jonah P. He's got a similar situation to Valin previously, where the over-rotation from EDG pulls people to A, and he's got a plan. It's again a similar spot where you can't really play back halls in this position because nobody's just going to clear you out with a salvo. And at the moment, Jonah can't do anything. Well, it could be a bait.
It could be.
I think EDG realise it's not.
No? All good. Oh, it's not good. Nah, it's rough here. He's still slipping around this. Hold on. Nah, come on, EDG. We're going every single round possible. How long do you reckon this is going to go on? You know what I mean? There's only so many times I can keep getting, into the 16-16. This is just ridiculous.
What is the record at an international event?
Someone's going to be able to pull that out.
I'm sure they will.
Enemy remaining.
1917, I've just been told.
Good vintage.
So, we certainly could end up getting there. This is absurd. They're taking chunks out each other, and they're also still trying to showcase new stuff.
Yeah. I know G2, especially on this map, Pearl is a fantastic map, and that was really impressive. EDG still showing depth and new looks at this point.
It's absurd, and it should make you feel scared if you support any team other than EDG at this event.
Yeah. But right now, they are tied at 16 apiece. Again on the attack.
But Kung has the attack op this time. We haven't seen this at any point, I believe, in the match so far.
Deep look towards A though from G2. Look at this space they're controlling here. These two players on that pendulum swing rotation. Trent kind of, I think Valin as well, both able to kind of fill the gap as needed. Mo, this is a lot on your plate, mate. This is a lot of pressure. That's a pixel. He's found a body. Oh, another! He's got two again! This man is something. I don't know where he keeps getting 2 kills from, but every time.
Now the rest of G2 though need to fill up this area. Valorant needs to make sure that EDG can't cross.
God, Simon's still good for it. I thought there was a bit more of a fight on that, but it is one out by G2. Store and holding towards middle. Leaving just the man himself, right? Kung Kung.
And an almost impossible situation. I mean, he's got an attack operator, he didn't even see a soul this round. Didn't have a chance to have impact. And it's also got to be rattling through the back of the heads of EDG that
30 seconds left.
if they hadn't allowed Leaf to stick the defuse in a prior round, they would have won the map already.
Don't feel good. If there's anyone to do it, it would be this man. Oh God, there was a feeling in the room.
If the trip hadn't gone off and activated the slow, I might have believed.
Okay, 17, 16. Back with G2 with a chance to close out now.
At this point, I don't even want them to close it out
Oh,
here.
where's he going?
I want them to see, you know, let's at least tie the record. If you got to this point and you don't get the record,
King just spawned your man, meme and spawn. We both looked at each other, knives out.
Operator still there for Kung Kung. Maybe a little bit more fireball this time on the defending side, of course. G2 have to once again rally themselves forward on this attack. Can they close out now? Can they make it up to 18? Early control being fought for towards that B main approach.
yeah, just using the salvos there to cancel Trent's drone, make it feel like Kung Kung is playing with the operators for B long, but they're pretty confident about it, pretty bold. They disrespect that.
Oh, Kung Kung looking for it, but they are just avoiding him. They've managed to navigate away from this.
They've got the read, and Valorant's created a good timing to hit the A site. The question is whether they can actually hit that. They're kind of meandering around at this point. It might give EDG a timing to spread back out. And Smoggy in the same spot as Jorg was, but they did get the little bleep there.
Yeah. A bit early again. LAN audio is a little bit different at times, harder to isolate those.
And
sounds,
Valence
but-
missed the timing here as well.
Kung Kung is right here. He's gone down. This could be the floodgates open. Do they speed up off this? Taking pause for thought towards Art, but Simon needs to make a masterpiece out of it. He can't. G2 now on the line. This could be over. G2 surely in the driving seat now. A 4v3.
Nice.
Oh, G2, prove me wrong.
Nice!
Prove me wrong. Oh, the Joggle digging back in though. It's done. G2 make it across the line. Sensational scenes here in Bangkok already.
What a way to open a series. If this does end up being a Grand Finals preview, then you've got an amazing end to a potential tournament here. That match, that map was beautiful.
That's only map one. Bind is up next.
No, nobody!
Nobody.
Oh, did you get there? What's the mouse in, mother? Oh!
Red Bull gives you wings.
अपन कुछ खेलते हैं क्या खेले और what should we play? स्पाइडरमैन बहुत दिनों का खेला नहीं क्या मैच चला है let's win next map and next map it's our win on bind fracture
Starting to feel out of my depth here. Sure we can do this? Here. Right back. Are they getting bigger? One more time into the fire? You're making jokes at a time like this? Part of the job.
Ironic. The spider come to save me.
Hey, you owe me one.
Let's see if we make it out.
Where do they keep coming from? Some sort of booking agency? We have to turn off this furnace. There! If we can overload the machine with a coolant, it should shut down. Unstoppable! Crushed him! Gone? Just in time to shut down the furnace. All right, this should...
You trying to kill everyone here?
Wasn't the plan, sorry. They don't quit. Well, neither do we. Getting hot in here. I haven't noticed. I think your suit is fireproof. Lucky you. We don't have time for this. What do we do? Hunt faster. That I can do. We gotta get Tombstone out. Maybe we can weaken the cage. There. Pull out those supports. Got me crazy. This might be one of the best days of my life. We really need to get you out more. What's this thing made of? I don't know, but this place is falling apart. Keep trying.
It's not working.
Just hang on. We need to pull those supports down. Through the cage. Maybe we go through the furnace. No, it's too hot in there. You got any better ideas? Hard choices, right? What are you doing? Come on, Harry.
Now what?
Yoga's done wonders for my mental health.
You trying to die here? Move it!
No! We lost him! Don't panic! Quick, this way! Harry! Gotta keep moving. Yeah! you see if we were followed? On it.
Only downside to going straight. The game keeps you in shape.
Glad we got to you in time. Some of the others weren't so lucky.
They couldn't have off me if they tried. Besides, they were waiting for their boss to do the deed.
You have someplace safe to go?
Yeah. They come for me again, I'll be ready. Tell your friend thanks for looking out for me. See you around, Spider.
Yeah. Looks like they split. We should too. Yeah. Hey, good job back there. Really? I was pretty sure I was just messing everything.
Somewhere like...
You were. Incredible.
What's this? Black Panther? Supposedly they got Black Panther in this game. Nah.
Because you saw a millipede again. Better check in with Pete first.
Oh, we have many missions to do. Let's go here first.
Hey, Miles. Yo, man. Been a minute. Need any spider help?
Actually, we're all good. We managed to rescue Tombstone before Kraven could get his hands on it.
We?
Oh, long story short, my buddy Harry, he has some sort of power suit. Kicked all kinds of butt with it. He's gonna be a big help with these hunters, that's for sure.
Wait. Is he one of us now?
Sort of? It's all happening fast, but we'll talk later. Gotta run.
Talk later. He says that a lot. Okay. Better see what's going on with Ma. That looks like one of Beck's Mysteriums. I thought they were gonna shut these down. Need some help?
The Mysterium is infected with a virus or something, and it's trapped someone inside.
If you execute the breakpoint condition, the system should reset. Just try not to get hurt in the process.
How would I get hurt if it's just an illusion?
That, my friend, is what we're trying to find out.
Black is good.
Spider-Man. Here to play hero.
Is that Spider-Man? Help! Help! Don't worry, I'll find you.
Destroy them all.
Spider-Man, what do you see in there? A bunch of bad guys, including including Mysterio.
I know this will sound odd, but Cole and I believe that this rogue Mysterio was created by whoever corrupted our Mysterio. They are trying to frame me by using weaponized illusions to torture people. We believe that if you defeat these anomalies, we will be able to save the hostages. And moreover, the more efficient you are in distracting these anomalies, the closer we will be to figuring out what went wrong.
I'm debugging code by fighting these weird green skull dudes? Okay.
Prepare for some sleight of hand, Spider-Man.
I think I did it.
You survived this time. I will never stop.
A nightmare.
I got
Well, the
gold.
nightmare is over. You're safe now.
Impressive! So this is why they call you a superhero.
ये चार अभी तक नहीं मिले। ये पहला है पेन ड्राइव। फोटोज में 6 बचे। स्पाइडर बॉट्स बहुत सारे बचे।
Oh, you found one of our dev diaries. This is a project that he was passionate about. Unfortunately, more people are trapped in Mysteriums throughout the city. We must find out who is behind this and bring them to justice.
This whole Mysterium thing feels shady. But if there are people trapped, I gotta help them. And try to figure out what's really going on.
Alright, folks. Updates on the trial of the century. The people of New York versus Norman Osborn. You remember Devil's Breath, how Mayor Norman was indirectly responsible for poisoning the city a couple years back? Well, his lawyers have slowed the march of justice down yet again with more delays. Our source inside the courtroom tells me they're bringing frivolous motions to prolong discovery. All love to my legal eagle friends, but some days you just gotta say it. Screw you lawyers. All right,
Spider-Man! Get the web slinger!
Fire the tiger, baby! Hey, ma'am.
You're good. Keep it up.
Thanks. You too.
You're not getting out of this!
Come, enter. Welcome to my mysterium.
सेकंड गाइस मैप शुरू हो गया ये तो अपन
This
मैप टेकिंग
Hey,
is for once a single Leaf just on the other side. Does have support on the way. You can see Jonah P and Trent coming over. This is a nasty little setup here. G2 will have to be diligent in their clear, which they are going to be. This is now going to be very messy. Time to get out of there. Trent's going to get one. Valorant on the follow-up, and EDG get punished for their bravado playing close sight. Flash through the smoke. We've seen it before, and it's rewarded again. Kang going to claim 2. Leaving in this 3v2, and Simon wants to play it forward. He finds a follow-up. How the hell are EDG turning that around?
2 waves of defense through the smoke. I mean, first of all, EDG are fighting over short, and G2 handle it really well. Taeho drone comes through, they swing, and not just that. They have the flash for the swing and a brim ult behind. And at that point, you're thinking, okay, G2, they're into the site. But it's the same cascade of defense through the smokes. And a trade from Leaf was not there quick enough onto Simon. I think he should have been a little snappier with that one, but I think G2 is still a bit afraid of what EDG are going to be doing on the defense. They constantly look like they're the ones reacting.
God, again, this is just so strong. EDG, this confidence. It's a wake-up call almost, really stamping their authority on this one. You walk into bind, you leave it open, you think maybe it's a trap, right? G2, this is not high up in that map, but we haven't seen it. Trying to fight back, they make a go of it. Still doing this up against nothing. That's 3 of them standing, walking out there, Vandals and head held high. EDG, this feels like it's sending a message almost.
Talking about sending messages, it's actually quite important for G2 if we take a step backwards from this. This is not an elimination game, right?
No.
And G2, they're favoured to be able to make it out of Swiss anyway, even if they do lose this game. It's really difficult out there, though, so I do hesitate to say that. But G2 want to send a message in this one that their bind is not free. Like, if they do float it and leave it open, you should still respect it. And if they get destroyed by EDG here, it's not gonna work.
Well, this is interesting. If we actually have a swing off it. Nah, nobody, I don't think he's going to fight. Ooh, does he get something off this? Okay, a little bit of info. I was hoping to see a little set piece off the rip. Don't think they're going to get the opportunity. Maybe a late flash in the clear here.
Yeah, I mean, they can still do it off contact. Kang takes a slightly deeper line. You send the flash out. G2 are probably not going to be running into hookah. They just go for the mid-round information instead. G2 are going to understand that a flash there means that somebody's peaked with it. That also means they're probably not fighting over long.
That vice wall is an issue. He's still going to be very much there, playing on the other side of the map as well. Simon playing backside, Kang playing out of elbow, and nobody playing close. Air flashes there, Seekers as well, but you can't make much of them. But they are pivoting, they are rotating away from this.
You don't want to go into Kang when he has the showstopper. Problem is, here comes Simon rotating to make the A side of the map the strong one.
So many of these approaches have been hindered. Again, those plays through the smoke, the isolation. Cheech going to take away Valen, but it's traded out this time. They can carry on forward, but how many flashes have we seen through these smokes? How many times has this man been an absolute nightmare? This time around, G2 pivot where they look, clearing out the space properly, playing together, plants in play, Leaf. Ugh. That's rotten from him. Kang done for. Nobody handled. G2 finally getting a bit of stability, but that was still rough around the edges.
I mean, the end of that round was appalling.
that was being quite nice.
That was really rough. And Leaf got himself into a phenomenal position. He snuck all the way through showers, deep into backside, an amazing spot. Whiffs the shot, and then Kang sends his ultimate out and -1 showstopper. So that's a weird way for the round to end, but the macro ideas, better from G2. And like I said, Leaf really threaded the needle there. That might be something he tries to do later on as well.
Swings and roundabouts now, money all over the shore.
What? It's full blind.
What is this game? How's this happening afterwards? Just like we're having one of those matches now afterwards, like, you know, the barn burner of map 1. It's getting
a little messy.
A little muddy, but it's early.
Deep vice wall over towards B long here, so Chishu's mixed things up on the eco. And the reason for this is he wants information on this side of the map so that they can stack A. He's probably not going to run this too often because it is fairly easy to jiggle out. You can make this into a trap play where you put the flash here and you salvo as soon as the wall takes contact. and the salvo would be all on top of these G2 players right now.
Ooh, it's fine. G2 clear sights. Plants coming in. EDG down to 2.
Expensive though.
Yep.
Jorgamo deciding to make it even between the two raises, neither of them having a raise out for the next important rifle round.
That's just so nice of him.
It is.
Considerate man. Takes away nobody. And Kung Kung gonna have to do this with just a stinger before standing here for G2. And it is G2.
Nice try.
Clear enough. Right, now we get into the, hopefully, a cleaner look between these two.
Yeah, and also I think one of the things to pay attention to is whether this defense over towards A starts to get exploited. G2 are really, really good at adapting on the fly. If you think about that previous map that we just saw, as we heard from Mika talking to Josh RT, he used the tag timeouts, the coach, like round 8, round 9, like essentially done with at that point, and just left it to the players to adapt as things went on. They are good at being able to dismantle other teams' compositions. Very intelligent.
Problem solvers. And fancying another go towards this A site here. I should connect on at least one there. Pretty sure that is gonna catch Jonah P. They look to re-clear with 3, so giving up all of this space though on shore.
That means that EDG have to play super heavy for showers. What is thinking there?
I don't know, and he has gone down for it. Simon just manic under pressure. G2 flooding the site. Smoggy's going to control towards showers, but again, there's some questionable choices going on here.
Joe got roasted.
What's going on? Trent and Leaf. Do you really fancy going walkabout standing? I guess you do. Yeah, go on then. Nobody's waiting, and yeah, Trent wins it. Okay, but
oh wow, that's nice.
Yeah, this.
Oh,
G2 has a glimpse, has a glance. He's got it. Trent now. He knew about Smoggy about a week ago, but to try and keep track of that, impossible. EDG tip it back into their hands at 5-3.
This is a messy game of bind, though. I mean, the idea with that defensive setup, when you play triple over towards showers, you have to commit to showers.
Yes.
You know that you've lost lamps control, and the retakers, when they come over, are super tentative. They don't just run into backside. And here, Kung Kung thinks there hasn't been a reaction, even though the Viper wall's gone up. He just kind of thinks he'll risk it. And yet they still somehow manage to skirmish out and don't just get pinched completely over there. It's G2 trying to test the waters, trying to find the limits, and EDG still being able to come up with the goods.
They insta-ult, drone off the back, but Kung Kung is still going to hold towards short. You got to get past him still. Trying to be forced away, holding lamps. Leaf clears. They've got front sight under control. I say somewhat, because we still see Simon there with the flash. No one to really play through it this time, so having to stay a little bit more patient, wait for this plant now.
This is one of the first times G2 have got into a decent spot.
Another ult coming right back in. Tail ults on both sides. Jorgamo willing to put his life on the line, but he goes down for it. Leaf going to be pressured, and EDG sweeping through. One over towards showers is going to be clear. Nobody lighting him up. That's clean from EDG.
Great retake. So much utility there. Still saved in the bank for EDG. They had flashes, salvos, stuns. The Armageddon coming back through as well. And G2 made that incredibly obvious that they were going for a fast A here. They literally used Taeho just straight off rip to push people out of showers and went for a 4-person exec short. This is not a comp that's going to be amazing at running these big 4-person short executes. Normally you're going to want the Fade to combo in there, maybe the Gecko or something like that. But they went for it, tried to make it happen. They're certainly trying to adapt and trying to find the openings, really heavily focused on A, as you can see again, but they're not coming out with the answers here.
No, and EDG starting to, it feels more and more robust as the rounds go on here. We just saw a really clean round. Smoggy trying to find a little bit of room to play from. That's audio cues, at least one, perhaps two. No way. No way! Doesn't get cleared out. He knows that there's already a crossover towards Lamps. He's got the ult as well. Fight forward or die. It doesn't matter which you choose. But Chichu does go down, but it's limited success. Look at the grip on this site. Jorgamo, I mean, you ain't doing much more than that. EDG looking in control now.
I think EDG have thoroughly proven at this point that their A defense works. Yes. So this has been a great scrim, guys. Shall we perhaps test the B side or something a little slower?
No, back towards A.
They've got, there's a lot of mistakes going on here as well. I mean, for example, you see it there, the dog not clearing the close position. That close position is one of the most common spots that you see people play inside of. If they're playing with a judge or if they're trying to get the jump on you with some kind of crossfire over towards lamps. There are errors here that don't befit a team with a reputation of having every T crossed and every I dotted. That's what you normally think of when you think of G2.
Yeah.
You can tell that we're towards the bottom of the map pool.
9-3.
My question is, do we get individuals? Do we get Valent's IGLing? Do other strengths of G2 here, other than the, you know, the prep and the discipline, rear their head to make this a more even half?
It really doesn't look good here. Other than that, as you said, maybe there is going to be that little bit of life in them there, because it feels like they have nothing to bank on beyond that. Jorgamo having an okay display thus far, but 8-8, not exactly setting much on fire. It's certainly not winning them rounds at this point. Beyond that, Leaf not really having that impact. It's a very middling performance. As said, EDG probably quite happy seeing this, seeing how the veto went down.
Super happy.
We kind of thought this might have been a trap, right? Oh, maybe G2's cooking something up, maybe there's something in the works here, but not really filled that idea that we've come up with. But you know, maybe they can close out the rest and show us a little bit more, but we need something to activate for G2. Right now, 3 rounds, and the way they've got them and the way this game has gone, I am not really buying this. EDG.
Rayzolt versus Rayzolt.
Here we go. Oh, God, what is going on? Is Jorgamo to find it? Trade it out, though. And they still have control. They have a lot of bodies here. Lovely swing, EDG. This is composure. Expecting the play coming out as well. G2 are trying to go blow for blow, but the bodies are here. Simon just putting up numbers and just roasting Leaf alive.
If there was a round that typifies exactly how this map has gone so far, it would be that one. Just a massive fight over towards B-Long. Both Rays with their ultimates, firing them off at each other. And then crucially, when Simon went for the reclear with the flash, nobody playing anti-flash, right? The layers that you would normally expect from a team like this, you see Valen is towards the bottom of B-Long in that, but he doesn't swing. He's not like, they haven't pre-thought out what they're going to do against EDG. And so every idea is working here for the Chinese super team.
This is a lovely confidence boost when you're considering the fracture is looking more and more likely as we close in towards an 8-3 scoreline here, looking like potentially 9-3 as well, considering the buy is Guardians. We do have a, you know, Joan Keys. Maybe that'll do something. But
oh, what a shot!
Hey, you wanted some individuals? All right, that's not bad. That's a fight. G2 can shoot.
Were you mocking the Guardians?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll write a written apology. I'll get to it. That's on me.
No, that's crazy though. G2 have just given themselves an opportunity, I think, here to be able to win the map. I mean, 4 rounds and then a pistol is vastly different.
Sometimes this game confuses me in ways that surprise me every single time. But now Smoggy and Simon have to try. Have a little go. Yeah, not gonna happen. G2 at least gonna look to salvage around here after what was a very underwhelming performance. Simon, yeah, there's just the pour on of utility. Timing alone is gonna be rotten for him. And yeah, you're right. 4 rounds does give you a little bit of a window to play with. As you said, maybe complement that with a pistol. Maybe you're back into this.
At the same time, though, just with a pistol, G2 haven't won one yet in this series. All 3 of the pistols have gone the way of EDG. G2 have got to turn that around.
Had it with your old phone? We've got you. At Verizon, trade in any old phone for iPhone 16 Pro on us, on any plan. And get iPad and Apple Watch Series 10, all 3 on us. That's up to $2,000 in value, only on Verizon.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Okay, should we watch this on Twitch?
Rolling your minds back, map 1 was an absolute barn burner between these two, but this, really you're seeing the disparity here in reps, in everything. G2 did at least scrounge 4 rounds, right? They've given themselves a small window, but it's certainly not much.
I think this is also another demonstration of how good EDG's map pool is.
Absolutely.
G2 was scared to play Haven against them.
Yep.
Almost lost on Pearl, where G2, look, that's the top of G2's map pool, and are now getting destroyed on Bind, which is towards the bottom of G2's map pool. Where is EDG weak? That's the question.
I don't think many people can really find an answer to that yet.
Not the pistol rounds.
No, which is a bit of an issue when you've only got 4 rounds. EDG looking like they are back on track here after, as I said, a very hard fought for map 1, which just slipped between the fingertips, but let's see if they can stick the landing, keep this clean, get on to map 3, Chichu. Looking sharp at the start, but overwhelmed and looking to be crunched on. Kung's there, and Jorgamo trying to just play his life, trying to stay alive for a second. We got the TP support coming in, a little scared, but all good.
This is another really standard pistol round from G2. The flash, no follow-up. How do you get out?
But a shot like that will certainly do you some good. A 3v3 now, but does Lee feel this pressure? Does he feel the absence of resistance on the site?
He should do.
G2 starting to put it together. It feels uncomfortable. Something feels off here. The molly is an issue. Belief with a stunner. Okay, hold on. 2v2. But can they find these players in time? EDG trying to play to that clock here. Force the fight forward. Smoggy, lovely work. Being really slippery here. And Leaf previously up towards that heaven position, trying to do what he can. He's outdone here. EDG once again looking composed in these pistol rounds.
4 out of 4 pistols going the way of EDG. Their players look super sharp with ghosts in hand. And small mistakes again, like Valen being caught out in the open there at Showers instead of playing the corner. He was getting reinforced by players coming through the teleport. Both pistol rounds that G2 ran are mega standard, not something special that they've come out of the strat book with, the kind of stuff that you see from tons of other teams at the tier 1 level. And now G2 are going for the force buy. Smacks of desperation, for sure.
There's not many good ways to characterize desperation in this one, and yeah, those stingers certainly look like it. Let's see, EDG, let's see how it looks once they hear those stingers, once they feel that pressure. It looks like quite a little further forward. Stalled out at least by the smoke now. Forced to respect that, but Jorgamo willing to try and hold this line down.
What do you think, guys?
Chichu is playing that position really disciplined. Valen's begging for a fight within some kind of stinger range. They can't find it.
Look, I've heard things about these North American stingers. I've heard they're pretty good, but I see caution being shown by EDG. Respect given in this one, not wanting to make any mistakes here. And you can see G2 kind of gathering back up towards Lamps, going for the swing. And the timing was pretty good, catching a couple on the reload. Oh, but they didn't expect Jorgamo catching 2 off again. And look at Kung's HP, down at 8. He's the one with the Vandal. Not close enough to pass it out comfortably. He wants that plant. Chichu only on the ghost. Oh man, this has suddenly become very doable. Kung trying to reposition here, but those stingers. Yeah, that's a good spot for Jorg. Yeah, it's so nice from him. That 2 he found was just perfect. Not expecting that extra body, but Chichu, timing's everything. And he's been caught off, down to 32. You think this one's got to be done here. They can start getting diffused. Utilities coming in. EDG, little bit of a wake-up call. Can't take it too light, but G2 and Stingers, man, they're good with them.
It's the perfect result from a force.
Yeah.
It's always a risk when you go for this kind of thing. If G2 had lost the round, they've basically lost the map. But I think it's the right time to take a risk. And what is the spray transfer there? I mean, he's running and strafing. Obviously, is the perfect weapon to do that with, but a stray bullet just flies onto Simon's head like it's a magnet. And Valen was also playing really nicely around smokes. He threw a smoke over towards default, which scared off EDG. Looked to try to close the gap and get the best value out of those light weapons. G2 with a lifeline.
Yeah, it is, right? It's a small window of chance. EDG going to be forced down to the Sheriffs and Classics. Odds and ends, and a very simplistic approach thus far. Trainer P could be farming on this. Judge there. Vintage for a reason. Going to be forced a little forward, but taking a lot of damage here. Forced down, okay. Nicely worked out.
Another example, I think, of not just playing against enough Tejo players. It's really difficult to play those kind of spots with a Judge against a Tejo that has salvos, can do a bounce stun to be able to take you out. It's similar over on Split.
Drone is down.
Nobody's gone for the reposition inside the teleporter as well, hoping that Valen or Jogamo go for that as they pressure B.
Nice little off angle for Leaf though. The early warning signal of presence coming in. A little bit of a stall on top. Going to try and hinder this. Yeah, they try and disrespect that. You're going to get melted. 40 seconds, but EDG working this. I like what they're doing, genuinely. You might as well make something like this happen. Can they achieve much with that Judge recovered? I don't know. Can they gap close well enough? Leaf, find a corner of safety. Time is starting to close out for EDG here, and the spam from Jorgamo is lovely. Okay, going for it in this. I think that's a little excessive, but...
Definitely is. And I think, flashy though it is,
sure,
it's a similar scenario to what we saw earlier. I think Jorg has used... I mean, both of the Raze ultimates that I remember were on anti-eco situations where he potentially could have saved them. And I think G2 need everything they can to be able to survive these spots. The next round, EDG's macro is looking pretty good. Kangkang's 2 away from being able to get his ult online.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, a little surprised at that one. I felt like they had this in hand. They still had the player towards elbow, they still had Leaf towards sight.
Yeah.
It feels a bit too far for me, but
it's credit though to EDG's pressure that they were applying with only classics in hand. And that level of pressure is what I was looking for G2 on their attack side. And think about it, if they had done, there was no Viper wall there.
Okay. Now can G2 keep up this up against the rifles? That's what we're looking at here. Now, EDG have the opportunity to show what they're made of. It's all a bit of a ruse to begin with. Kangkang was considering at least investing the boom bot, but then she's against it. It's the other side.
There are pings all over showers where Jorgamo is currently holding. Looks like maybe a stun play, see if they can catch him.
Far simple in approach. Good info. They know what's coming here. There's 3 players for G2. Kangkang, though, going to start flying forward. Takes the close space. TP there. Nice. G2 holding on. Kangkang, the one to answer back, but it's G2 on the site. Solid in their hold this time. I'm waiting with bated breath for it almost to fall apart, but it's not here. They've held their composure well. And EDG just getting broken on the way in towards site itself and towards showers.
One of the players ended up dying to salvos as well. And the macro game actually being played really nicely by Jorg and Leaf, the 2 players on your screen here. They dominated in showers against the Tejo utility that was coming out. Made sure that a crucial piece of map control was maintained the entire time by G2. And they've got the jump on Smoggy here. Though he is thinking about it, it would be impossible for him to deal with both of them and get the plan down.
Okay.
That's a really big round for G2.
Yeah.
The game, although it feels like EDG have been in control, is only within 2.
It's 9-7.
And that's partly because of the force buy and the fact that that worked and got them an extra eco off the back of it. But it's also because they've now got a really crucial eco swing round here. Round 14 and 16, you might look back at this and I'll say this is where everything flipped for G2.
And it's enough of a pressure moment that EDG have gone, no, let's take a breath on this one. Let's take a beat here. This is 3 consecutive rounds. And again, that force spike going to just bring up the confidence as well. You're starting to feel out like this is possible. It was a very oppressive first half. A very small window of chance was given. Was it 4 rounds on the half flip? And then again, forced to have to try and convert a boat or like a force buy. Some really tricky scenarios that G2 have actually navigated after what you were complimenting, and rightly so, is EDG looking much more robust here, at least on that first half.
the thing with teams like G2 or EDG, to give them both their credit, is that when you're in an advantage position against them, you really have to step on the throat. You have to stamp them out. You can't allow them to start creeping back in and getting these advantage situations, because the closer it gets, the more it only takes one person having a hero play or some kind of ult cycle, and suddenly you're fending off a really serious comeback, as EDG look to be struggling with right here. But as far as we can tell, this is going to be a one-round game.
Yeah. By all rights, I am seeing Kang considering the purchase. It looked like he was kind of maybe opting for a Bulldog at the moment, but then now going against it. So, yeah, Sheriff's Light Shield, Regen Shield does have ult as well. So if there is a moment that could call forward that investment, it is there.
Jonah looks a little uncertain as to how to play that situation. He was thinking about using the dog, wondered if he had the timing to go for the jiggle, and decided it was safe enough. Doesn't take any damage there. And there is a potential fight over here. They're trying to bait Jorgamo into going for the aggressive push. They found the kill, and now nobody could call the reinforcements through the teleporter. Will they slow the game down?
Oh, this is nice though. That is a Vandal they can pick up. Obviously they don't fully know how secure and safe that is. If they want to go for that late look back towards Showers, it's there. Oh, and another punish Chi-Chu. Stunning, really punishing G2 for wanting to try and tip those scales back towards even, but to try and play out in a 5v4 up against Sheriffs, giving EDG what they wanted.
Nobody, as he goes for the drone through here, is going to realize that that Vandal is able to be picked up.
Oh, and G2, you'll be kicking yourself from this one. EDG have absolutely worked you over here. It's down to Trent and Jonah P to try and do something back, but nobody is going to have that upgrade as well. And the Curiosity, oh, he's got two! Jonah P making up for the mistakes, leaving just the hero himself in the one. Oh my god, oh my, hold on, oh no!
Nice!
Back. These two teams now down to a 1v1, but Trent on the site itself and Kang waiting. Letting him sweat a little on this. Satchel over, force him away as a look here. He went wide, and Trent recovers what looked like a lost round.
Nice.
Incredibly important 1v1 to Trent. But he's not really the hero here. It was all on Jonah P. Somebody who got bullied basically in map 1. He was having a really rough game of things. Couldn't find his value. And here, he's saved them. He absolutely has.
God, bloody hell. Those three on the site. Jesus. What a game we are seeing here. Suddenly. Oh.
Jorg has picked up the operator here.
Okay.
For this round, and he's solo alone holding on A.
Have they seen that Leaf's crossed there? TP's. Oh, okay, that's big info. Run, get away, find a little bit of a corner to play from. There is a hunting squad here looking for blood. Leaf draws it. Kang's gone.
Here's the reaction. You gotta push. You know you have the timing. There's only one player A.
He's respecting this enough. He knows that he can't stick around too close, rattling off an operator shot, but backpedaling away towards heaven.
Now forced to play retake with the off. Do they have plan denial? No, nothing.
I'm looking at the ults here. Nobody one off from his. Simon one away, but it's Chi-Chu with his Smoggy, with his Molly still there. They're going to try and clear sight. You've got the ults coming onto this, layering it forward, trying to facilitate what they can. An angle for nobody could be lovely, but it's Chi-Chu with the first contact. G2 trying to gap close on this. Chi-Chu nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. He's trying to play his life, and he still gets down Leaf. Quick trade. G2 unwilling to relent on this, but Util is the name of the game. They've got a lot of stall here. G2 are going to have to try and work this out somehow, even with the numbers. It ain't going to be easy. Look at it. Poured on. Jonah P puts himself forward. Nobody comes in. Trent on the trade, but time is everything. You've heard the ult going through. I think Smoggy knows he's done enough here. Trent can try what he can, but it's EDG buying those precious seconds.
Their comp has so much of that post-plant stall that they could use. They have the nade, then the mosh, then the, sorry, not the mosh, the fragment grenade, the salvos, Molly from Brim, and then the orbital strike on top. I mean, even if they've used some of them to be able to take the site, which this round they barely had to, It's such a good post-plant composition. And what's rough about that is it was probably the best played round from G2 that we've seen, and they don't get the win.
Jorgamo still with that operator here. Ult for Leaf, but other than that, it is just what they can do. Jorgamo slow down a little, but look how much space they're taking off this. Maybe this is the right read. EDG are going to take all of the site. You've got to hope in some mind that Trent holds back site, because Kang is hungry. Trent looked lost in the source on that one. He was just drifting away, but now he's got them pinned. This is actually an issue. This is a really tricky scenario for G2 to figure out.
It's tricky for Leaf. Leaf has to hold off the Horde that are looking to try to take some space over towards backside, towards spawn. EDG would really love to control Heaven.
Oh, Leaf. That doesn't look winnable. It really doesn't. EDG posted up on this. 2 players waiting. Nobody good for it. Valen does strike back towards Kang, but now Jonah P, the man who went large, who went above and beyond for the boys before, now he's trying to hold on to it. Nobody. Forced a little further forward. Dog goes in. It's all getting messy now. On towards the spike. Nobody going to take away Jonah P. EDG! Nice. Bringing it back to 11 now.
2 vitally important rounds for EDG to stem the bleeding. It looked like G2 were going to be able to put things together, go on a bit of a run off the back of the force buy, but they found their footing. EDG playing these situations so well. I still don't understand what happened with Trent there. I think he must have been full blind and was trying to escape. Just didn't quite realize he was butting his head into a brick wall.
Yeah, a little rough for him.
But EDG now twice have made exactly the correct macro decision to G2 dominating showers. They've gone in, they've taken lamps control, and then they've gone towards back, towards CT, and they've played around that pipes vent position wonderfully. I mean, in one of the rounds they were messing around with Leaf, pulling him all over the place, and in this round they double up, clear him out, and even deal with Jonah P, who's coming to reinforce the position. G2's adaptation of fighting super heavy over showers needs some modification, because at the moment it's getting outdone.
Yeah, it is starting to fall short at this point. It's had its time in the sun and it's not quite having the same impact, but we do then once again bring back that conversation that felt like it was done for, but the lack of depth here for G2 might start being a little bit more of an issue, because again, that adaptation, we know that they're great at learning on the fly. These are hard things to come up with against the caliber of a team like EDG. Up to 11, facing off against 8. There is still a bye here for G2, but it's certainly not perfect.
Yeah, they're going to force into this one, and probably that means that Leaf is going to pit right at the start as well. So he's got the one-way over towards showers. He can pit short. He's got a teammate helping him at the start of the round, and that'll allow them to keep B as the strong site.
Shoulder. Going to be seen. Bit of a trade out between the two.
Immediately, Kang knows what the setup is. As soon as they see the Viper ult in short, he knows there's going to be a one-way over towards showers. It's the most standard thing, so he just instantly takes all of that space.
Surprised if Trent did actually rotate over. I think he's going to try and quick foot it back towards B. Yeah, he's made it back through now. Simon's got to be cautious. He's very isolated. Nice work from Jonah P, but it's Chichu all in the meantime taking away the squad. Once again, Jonah P gonna have to go nuclear, and he makes a damn good go of it, but the site's already won out. We saw Chichu getting that damage done in the meantime towards the 2 players. Jorgamo has hit a decent timing on this rotation, but it will be a post plant, surely.
He's hit a good timing, and he's got past the thorns. He's given away his position.
Less likely to work out now. TP as well. Identifying where Leaf will be coming from. This is all feeling very known. EDG going for the secure plant in the middle of the site. Chichu takes away Jorgamo. They heard the TP. They know where he is, and EDG making it look comfortable at the end there.
Chichu has been utterly brilliant in this tournament. We've already talked about how he was as well at Champs. Where's the wall here? The Viper wall is too late. The rest of the G2 players over towards B not calling for it early enough. Maybe there was lacking fuel. Maybe that was because of Kang's pressure over towards showers at the start of the round. He might have run out of a bit of juice just being worried about a showers push. But there are gaps here from G2 that you don't normally expect from them, and EDG are punishing every time.
Yeah. And that's the credit here, is that EDG are finding those faults so well, genuinely. And look at this again, very simplistic in approach though here. No split through showers, all in through short, and it's a ball on the side. Jonah B does well, but he's the only one to do well for G2. It's lights out for EDG so far. They've won out the site, they got what they wanted. They add another body to the list, putting Leaf all alone. And the plant's there as well. 13, and map 2 beckoning. And Leaf could do nothing but die. EDG back in the game, and we are going the distance.
What a response, what a pop-off. Kangkong playing to the crowd. They're off to Fracture.
EDG पे सबसे ज़्यादा वोट्स है क्या? Nice.
Stay focused. Stay focused. Stay.
Okay, again, let's go for.
I don't know where I am. Help!
Just sit tight. I'll find you.
My illusions will never die. But you.
Okay, Miles. Remember, everything's an illusion. Even that fake Mysterio. Whoa! This sure doesn't feel like an illusion. How are they doing this? Hello? This illusion is an illusion.
I promise, this poison gas is not an illusion. Tick-tock, Spider-Man. You felt that one, didn't you?
That's it.
Just accept this temporary.
I thought I was lost forever.
It's okay. It's over.
I have one more. What is the new suit? Seriously.
Too fast, guys. Way too fast.
Hey, try to catch us, Spider.
Y'all talking to me? Sorry, you're gonna have to slow down.
Knew you'd get close.
That's all.
Nothing like a high-speed chase to get the blood flowing. Now I'm all hyped up.
My shift isn't working.
Nice.
I mean, if I was rich, I'd take advantage of that backdrop too. I'd also be worried about constantly launching balls off the roof, but I guess they can afford it.
I am a master of illusion. Let the mystery begin.
मैच चालू करने का अभी लेट मी रिफ्रेश कर लेना चाहिए.
I think we saw this time in time.
Somebody help me! Ha! Stay where you are. I'll find you.
You may be a hero out there, but in here.
Got news for you. For some people, I'm a villain no matter where I am. What just happened?
You want to survive? You'll have to go through me first. Impossible!
Now back to the other guy. Okay, gotta take out the rest of them.
You can't save anyone. You can't save yourself.
Nice. Now let's finish this off.
एक और बंदा कहते हैं. अबे ये क्या चीटिंग है भाई. बंदा है ही नहीं. इसको मारूं मैं. नीचे है उसको कैसे मारूं ये नीचे जा भी नहीं रहा वो बंदे को मार देगा लेकिन मैं चलो गाइस मैप शुरू हो रहा है
His map will go. If this isn't really defined and meta-proof that much, G2 will not hold back on this map. They're going to go at you hard of XX.
Exactly. So we see Chichu, he's going to be playing on the Cypher. They have also implemented the Tejo, but all I see is giving Kankan all the tools that he needs. We saw it on Bind. It was actually those more pacey, even faster executes that give EDG the edge. And with Kankan on the Neon, he's going back into that comfort zone. He knows exactly how and when to play against this.
Yeah, I can't say, listen, it could be anyone's game really at this point, but for EDG, I do have that just tinge of worry at the back of my mind here, because G2 are no slouches on Fracture.
They aren't indeed. This is it. The stakes are at all-time high. The winner moves straight to the playoffs bracket and scores a championship point. One last time, here's Pansy and Sideshow.
Yeah, and I want to ask you the question, do you echo a little bit of Bren's worry there with some of these compositional issues potentially, or is there enough room for you that you see there's still solid chances with EDG with this comp?
I think there are chances, but if you're gonna go the way of the Tejo, I would like to see them go fully in that direction with the Vice, with the Raze. But right at the start, I think eyes should be on Chishu, because G2 run a very fast, exec-heavy strategy. And it looks like on the pistol round, going for this B split, heavy through arcade, and it puts so much pressure on the site anchor.
Huge challenge. Oh, nobody! Gonna keep him safe for now. Takes away Jogmo.
What was that,
That's lovely. G2 can reposition a little bit on the site. Valen does find nobody, but if it's Leap now on the line, and this is G2 brawling out, a lot of angles to worry about, but they come out on top. G2 gonna find one right in that smoke. Jonah P's gone down. This is still a 2v2. Very doable. The HP, yes, favorable to G2, but with Simon and Chichu still in this, I'm not writing off just yet. Chichu, so low on HP here, gonna come together. Oh, Simon snaps and takes away Trent's head. Working it back in together so well. EDG passing the first test.
That is snappy. Really nicely played. Even from the pistol round, you can tell that both of these teams actually are looking really good on Fracture. And one of the reasons for me saying that is that look at where the smoke util is coming down. You've got Brimstone smokes on site here for the defenders to be able to play around. And then on the attack as well, Valen pops one over towards Dice so that he can reposition after getting the plant down. And then Simon sneaks inside of the attacker's smoke, flashes through it like they're playing around those pieces of utility in a really good meta way. Oh, and that's tragic.
Yeah.
He knows that he probably should have been able to get that one.
And that could have been a really close chance for that pistol to finally go their way. But as it stands, EDG with this first strike on the board.
As they have done in every map so far, it's brutally difficult to win series when you can't win a pistol.
Now, EDG on them, anything slip here. They want to keep control of all of this. No free orbs, no chance, nobody! Oh, it's just gorgeous from nobody, farming them up. They just wanted an orb.
Oh, and they're going to try to give the orb to nobody.
Look at this smile. Simon, he's like, come on over. Guys, I got it. I know exactly where he is.
Leaves like a tasty snack.
Look at it. Oh, they're hunting him down. Oh dear, this feels foul to witness. Simon closing it out in the end, but blimmin' heck, that's a round two. They're already grinning.
Aura. I think that's what they said on the desk. The champs winning aura. And I agree, it is really there. Not just from Kong in his pop-off towards the end, but in terms of the way that they're approaching the game, thinking about the min-maxing, not getting worried in spots like that, toying with one of the best players in the tournament.
Amazing.
Have EDG got something aggressive to showcase here on their bonus? The Neon could add so much extra oomph into their defense fast plays.
And a monumental round for G2 on the other side to get this bye under their belt after what's felt like a drought at the start of these games. These last couple of maps. It's a big stack towards A for EDG. 4 players present, a very proactive G2. They've read him again.
Oh.
Kong! How dare I doubt you on this Neon? Just through smokes. He knows what he's doing. He's fine. The eventual approach from Leaf is coming in. But they've still got this so sewn up. Okay, that's one. Now he's gonna know Kong's around still. Nobody gonna be noted as well, but does he get to live? No, he doesn't. Kong's still in control.
Yes.
Looking for more. This is 3 for him, keep in mind. It could even be an ace here as well. They're on back-to-back. They fancy it too. The crowd's having a go for it. They're calling him forward. Here was the one. Showing off for the end. Showing the crowd what they wanted, but Jonah P shuts them up. It ain't over now. A 1v2, 37 seconds. He's got the spike, 2 individual fights, but pinning down nobody is incredibly difficult. Maybe
30 seconds.
he could hazard a guess at Chichu. Maybe. This is 25 seconds and it's all guesswork now. Takes a gamble, takes a chance. Takes a death, EDG converting the bonus here in round 3.
Beautiful protocol for them. If you dial things back to the beginning of the round and think about what their response was to G2's execute, it was to get bodies in front of the smokes as early as they possibly could. Stun, and they're on top of Jorg before he's even landed. They knew exactly what was going to be happening here. They knew that Jorg was going to be the tip of the spear on the exec. They knew the Dish player was going to be late, so they don't have to worry about that timing, and they're in fast.
Justice.
They're prepped, they're ready.
And they're damn pumped up too. You're starting to see him really firing up here. Saw him igniting on map 2, looking like map 3. They are just turning the screws. They're in their face. It's sending a message and leaving no one alive. EDG lighting up the kill feed.
If G2 want to run these fast attack split rounds, EDG are super happy to take them on. They're not going to sit back and play retake. They're not going to try to play the crossfires. They're going to leap into G2's face, intercept them while they're inside their iPad, bibbing and bopping with the Fruit Ninja. They're going to try to catch timings while they've got utility in their hand and overwhelm them. I don't know whether other people are going to be inspired by this and pick up the Neon if it carries on like this from EDG, but you don't always have to have something that everybody else wants to copy. You can find something unique that works for your style. And there was no style, I think, more suited to Kong than the Neon.
Yeah, I love what you're saying there. The little niche look from them and making it such a characteristic of how they're approaching it. It's not just kind of slotting it into any duelist position. No, they are playing around this. It's playing around that aggression. They are taking the fight to G2. And it takes an incredibly good team to make G2 look impactless. They look like they're barely making it out of spawn half the time. That first move on the chessboard is met by sheer force. It's wild to see them doing this to someone like G2. Contextually is the important part in my mind.
G2's Fracture has actually looked quite one-dimensional though. It's just that that one dimension is phenomenally effective against everybody else. They've only really showcased fast executes. And now G2 need to show us that next dimension, that next level. They need to be baiting fast execs to force the flood from EDG and actually calling the pause and collecting those kills. But they couldn't manage it basically once on Bind, because the same strat would have worked there.
Look at the info here. Not going to go far enough on the Teo drone for EDG to catch anyone towards spawn, but it does clear out towards A main, so feels like they want to free up nobody to hit that rotate early.
And crucially, the tempo difference from G2, right? It's stark. It's so different. Whereas you go and watch what they've done on Fracture in the past, it's fast, fast, fast.
My God, but Trent's already gone down. Leaving Jorgamo on his own. This feels, again, it's going to feel a little lacking. They've seen no one else, and they're already looking for information down towards B main. They felt a little pressure, and they went, that's weird. There's no one following that up.
But Valin has called a really nice fake here. Because G2 have conditioned in their prior matches that they always go the first place that they make noise, now they've got a clear access to the A side. Unfortunately, it's a 3v5 because the two players faking on B have died.
I like what Jonah P's trying here, but it's really risky. He had to hit it the first time of asking, but Chichu already denies. It's down to 2. Leaf's position could be actually pretty spectacular, but it feels like it... Leaf? Oh no, he's got no idea. He's got no idea. It's not even the flank that gets him. It's Kang! EDG! Absolutely unstoppable thus far.
If you look at that from G2's perspective, Valen outplayed them in terms of making the right call coming out of the tag timeout. If Josh gave them that round, okay, we're going to make a little bit of a fake, a pump fake over towards B, and then we're going to reset on A. The problem was EDG just won every single duel at every point. They deleted Trent before a smoke went down, came back over here, caught onto everyone, found Leaf with the cam. It's perfection from EDG currently, even when G2 have a nice answer.
This is just lovely to witness. And G2 going to be forced down to heal pretty much. A broken purchase, not very many ults to bank on, but they can try and build up. But we saw EDG even willing in the previous rounds to take those riskier fights and still win them. Look, they're pushing out towards Arcade. There is no stopping this team. They are relentless in their approach in this map.
It's an unusual defensive setup. Only nobody playing for information.
Yeah, they got no idea. They pushed out so early through Arcade and they're still working. It feels like G2 are so surprised at this aggression time and time again.
I mean, that is a weird one though. EDG 4 stack over towards B and push out Arcade, flank underneath tunnel. That's the kind of strat you expect them to save for a rifle round. But it throws G2's rhythm off.
Now, G2 have one out at least on the site, right? We're talking silver linings. They've got a plant. Let's go G2. Need a bit more than that though now. Kang already going to be really keeping track on Leaf here. Smoggy going to get contact. Chogamo wins. Those stingers in North Americans' hands are still deadly, but not deadly enough. Valen and Trent asked to do it all. Huge pressure. Valen tries to stand up. 13 HP. Looking a little unlucky as EDG maintain absolute dominance on that scoreboard. 6 now with 0 response.
Utterly in control. I mean, what we said towards the end of map 1 was, if this was a grand finals preview, man, what a match it would be. Ever since that, EDG have diffed G2.
Straight up.
All throughout Bind, we were ready to give G2 the bail. Because, fair enough, it's at the bottom of your map pool, okay. you left it open. Okay, but if you can't perform here on Fracture as well, where you've looked good regionally, and it's not at the tippity top of EDG's map pool either, at least we don't know, I suppose, with this brand new composition.
Sure.
But they are getting smacked around. This is champs winning form from EDG.
And it's crazy seeing that caliber of jump up between these two teams, because they are meant to be, as I said, this could be the quote-unquote grand final that a lot of people were theory crafting.
It's another fake being called from Valen. So Josh RT's tack timeout must have been, these guys are biting super heavy, used the condition in a previous to run a lot of fakes. Last time though, they lost 2 off the rip, and this time there's a heavy flank from north side.
Yeah, it's coming over quick as well. Already Kang going to be closing that gap pretty fast. On the other side of things, it's going to be Leaf who's the one to try and catch this maybe. He's got the flash behind him, but why do I feel this always just favors Kang at the moment? The rest of the team making it over now, the utility, the ults, everything poured on. Kang dealt with Leaf now with a new lease of life, but nobody! Back-to-back impact! EDG starting to clear on through, and Leaf just wants to live! He don't get that chance! Nobody applying pressure! Valen punching back! It's still a 2v2. Jonah P, lovely little off angle here. It's Valen being dominant! G2 finally carve a round on the board.
Yes, bawa
boleh for G2 calls a lovely fake.
So then,
fine, I'll do it myself, and gets 4 for them. But that's what they had to do to get 1 on the board. The problem with running fakes like this as your win condition, oh, that is tragic.
Christ.
That's tragic for Jorgamo. He died with his showstopper out as well, I missed that. But the problem with running fakes as your win condition is they rely on the normal being the fast exit. And if the normal becomes the fake, then you're not going to bite anymore on the utility. You're not going to over-rotate.
I think that was 4 ults as well from G2.
Yeah, it's expensive.
And we've got Kang going for the operator, has his ult here. Valen, gonna have to be ready for this. Nice from Jorgamo, gonna take the space, and Jonah P's done well. Hold on. This is now still going to be contested. Kang wants the space back on the site. He's going to get it. Rips him away from tower. And that spike is quaking in its boots in the hands of Trent. He can't go any further now. This is uncomfortable, but does he get timing? Maybe. This pause, this lull in the round. But with the flank from someone like Nobody, you're not that worried about them walking back towards A.
Not at all. Both G2 players are going to have to find great timings and great duels.
That not going to happen with this man, is it? Leaf. Great first, sort of performances here, but again, EDG looking like a step above the whole way.
What's up?
I did not think that we would see a team at this tournament make G2 look so rough. It's incredibly impressive. And this is still only the Swiss stage. Still plenty of opportunity for G2 to recover from this one and maybe go on still into playoffs, but I'd be amazed if they recover the map at this point. This is already such a hole that they have to dig themselves out of. EDG are showing brilliance.
Again, be it that little bit of vengeance to have from that one loss and EDG's championship run in the group stage to G2. People arguing, hey, but with Jorgamo here, that's a pound-for-pound upgrade over Icy. And well, EDG's form, to say the least, is skyrocketing. Nobody is still willing to fight on this, and it's Chichu in support to take away Leaf. And man, disadvantage so early on for G2.
This is going to be really tough to play. We want G2 to be moving forwards, looking to try to find a fight rather than just play passive post plants.
But where's safe? Where's secure? It feels like nothing is for you. EDG waiting behind these smokes, but the go signal's coming in now. Kang the first in and the first to fall. Good work, but better trade. Smoggy keeping the numbers up. Chichu doing the same. EDG so clean. There's not much more to say. This is just a frag movie with their name on it.
Nice.
Chichu, I think player of the tournament so far.
100%.
He's I suppose we are saying that just coming off a masterclass from Durka as well.
Yeah.
Right before this. So maybe I'm getting dazzled by the lights in front of me, but my God, he's at least got to be in the running because every round it feels like he's having spectacular impact. He can't be touched.
Nice. Chichu.
Phenomenal. And just like on Pearl, Pansy, Josh RT's been forced to take the second tack timeout, round 10.
Feels kind of like a win at this point. I think we were calling that a little earlier with the scoreline, but at 8-1, you got to do something. I don't know how you're meant to contain someone like EDG. We're now seeing Chichu kind of joining up with Kang and there's Nobody, consistent impact. I mean, every single person having their moment in the sun for EDG. It's not just that tactical approach that has been profound and incredibly hard to contain, but now we're getting the individuals like, okay, another 4K coming in, another 3K. How are you meant to deal with all of these problems?
I mean, the cope for G2 is we didn't win a pistol, and Jorg and Trent are just having a bit of an off day. They're both at the bottom of the scoreboard at 1-9. Trent in particular has been an absolute monster so far this year. It's been his best year at the tier 1 level since he first sprung onto the scene, and he has had a bit of an off day today. But at the same time, there's a reason why it's called cope. Even if they'd won a pistol here, do you really believe it would have stopped EDG from winning the rest of the rifle rounds? Like, this is not an ult snowball that you're witnessing right now. The ults are certainly helpful, but it's EDG dismantling G2's style here on Fracture. And some of that is going to be the take difference, because Chinese kickoff finished a little earlier and EDG had time to refine stuff, change stuff. But it's also just the form they've got, the read they've got, the quality they've got.
G2 nearly walked into their deaths. Have a look at this. EDG having a wander, having a walk. Kang getting much closer just around this corner. Valen waiting. Oh! It was like a guillotine brought down, but Valen gets to live to fight for another couple of seconds.
Trent reinforcing this south side position. It's very difficult to go and retake towards Tree. I mean, even if you throw a bunch of utility at Kang, he is going to disrespect it.
They're already walking north side as well. They don't stop. EDG just don't stop.
This actually might be a good thing, though, for Leaf. He hasn't been able to find much value from Dish anyway. So being able to be given fights as long as he thinks about a flank could offer him impact. He's not thinking about it, though, is he?
Oh, he is. Oh, he's
Caught.
Yeah, done for. The map now looking near impossible to approach EDG here in numbers. The gap closing again. A G2 being strangled out of this one. Smothered as they try and work forward. Jonah P and Valen just inundated with util. Look at it. It's everywhere. There's nothing to do but die. EDG sending a message round by round. It's 9-1.
A lot of these rounds feel similar to Bind, where G2 on the attack side was sending it down short and then not finding that pause in the tempo to bait out the flash. You know, what you want to see from them is we go forwards, we bait out the defensive reaction, and then we punish it. And here, it's similar stuff. They're going forwards, there's a defensive reaction, but then they just get smothered by it. They get absolutely overwhelmed every time without being able to read what's happening. And EDG, they're just too strong.
Yeah. It is mad to see an outclass of this caliber, to this extent.
Yeah.
And again, G2 can do nothing but try and keep going, right? It's, you know, keep trying to find a new way forward, keep trying to find an area to work in, but the fluidity that EDG are playing with right now is so hard to pin down.
You got to be scared of Kong Kong's operator, and then Kong Kong is holding lines for the rest of the team to push. And also, when EDG are up 9-1, they're going to be so confident. Yep. So even if you throw a piece of util at them, or they have a smoke in their face, they're not going to respect it anyway. So it gets tougher and tougher to play against opponents when they get the confidence like this.
Not ready yet.
They have found the weaker side of the map here, but it's Kong Kong taking a walk with his op on the north side that worries me, because this is what I'm talking about in terms of confidence. Would you be doing this if it was an even game? Probably not.
I want to say no.
Well, at the same time, it's Kong Kong. Who knows?
Oh, God, of course. And he catches Valen. A reward for that sort of behavior. Now they're going to be just scratching their head going, Christ, what are we meant to do now? Denied on the plant. Paranoid about tower, have to clear it. Stalled out, rotations are in, stuns coming through, they're waiting, they're pausing, they're hoping, they're praying, and maybe this time there's an answer. Leaf desperate to get there in time, Giacomo surrounded and on an island, he's dealt with. 13 seconds, the spike is so far. Leaf has to find the kills. He gets Smoggy. The flash will show, he knows. 6 seconds, he's got to make his choice here. He's trying to find him. 2 seconds. 1, he's run out of time. Nobody puts him to bed. It's 10-1.
There is no kind of win condition that is finding success against EDG. The wall has been raised. EDG are finding so many opportunities. It doesn't matter what they do, it's working.
That scares me for the rest of the tournament as well, the confidence that this team will be working forward with. They've done this to G2, arguably the team that people thought would, again, finalists potentially, high end, and to already see this sort of scoreline, that's confidence that could last a tournament. Kong Kong already. Leaf, you've been liking a bit of dish? Nah. Ooh, body block. He's still gonna get the kill. They're still willing to brawl. It's a 3v2. It's still a man advantage on EDG's side.
At this point, G2 are playing not to get embarrassed, essentially. I mean, the win just can't even be in their mind. The 10-2 half is the best that they could hope for if Trent and Valen are able to put anything together.
No 10-2, no 10-2, 11-1.
It's one off from ult. A bit of util left, same for Valen, not ult-wise, but util-wise at the very least.
And the pause in the round here is to try to catch a potential flank that comes through. And EDG have been active, they have been flanking. But every time G2 pause and wait, it's not happening. You know, they're just sometimes making the right call in the wrong round.
G2 just chilling in cam.
This cam has been getting so much value. It caught Leaf in a Ferrari round as well.
Oh, that's a dirty little trip. Does get handled, then the cross does get spammed. You see Trent went low for that, but the plant's in. Quick stun. And looking like a quick retake as well. Simon on the drive-by just going to catch Trent, leaving Valen in a world of trouble. In a 1v3, he's going to try and do what he can. We need heroics from G2 to even give them breathing room, and a desperate attempt here for Valen. Smoggy and Simon playing so far. Playing by Hiller. Nice from Valen, but not nice enough. A near-on flawless first half.
Utter domination from EDG. G2 were the only team to take them down at Champs, but that is so far away from what we're witnessing today. EDG came here to get revenge.
Let's read the chat, guys. Tadi nila kan orang ya yes.
An 11-1, you said it. I mean, vengeance is being served here. The last time these two met, it was the only real time we saw EDG looking human back when they eventually went on to win it all anyway. Now we're down at 11-1, and G2 better get a pistol.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that'll save them. This is going to look more like a coronation for EDG as they head forwards into playoffs. The chance of an upset, the chance of any kind of comeback is just almost impossibly small. At this point, with EDG dismantling G2, I think you've got to start talking very seriously about them being the second team ever to go back-to-back. The only team ever to win a Masters and Champs. You know, it's only Sassy as a player who's ever even been able to do that.
Yeah, the only team to
This
win
team is now
Masters and
poised,
Champs.
of all of them, including Vitality, who we saw go through to playoffs earlier
Again,
today,
we will win this
as the team to
Masters.
watch.
Hands down.
Again,
Hands
Champs, we
down.
have to win.
Well, G2, how about a pistol? Let's have a look.
It would almost be crueler if they did win the pistol here.
A glimpse of what you could have had.
They've lost 5 out of 5.
It's not great, is it?
No, I think that's 0%.
Good at statistics.
But I'm not a maths guy.
No, it's not looking great though. But EDG getting closer and oh, Kong straight in. Oh, Chichu!
What the fuck?
EDG. Give him hell. Jonah P and Leaf, mile away. Good
Wrap
luck,
it up.
boys. Yeah.
Stick a fork in them. There is no hope out here. EDG, no mercy. And nobody, by the way, has just decided to have a game to end things on.
Who was telling ease?
Who
was doing ease?
Let's
go.
Through 12-1. Yeah, putting on an absolute clinic. Can close it out in this coming round.
You couldn't have found a more uneven open and close to the series. 18-16 deep in OT, no opportunity for one team to get a toe above the other. And now this could just straight up be a 13-1.
Oh, it might be.
All
But
Bulldogs?
Stingers and G2.
All
Here we are.
Stingers.
Don't try to sell me anything here. Not a shred of hope. I want to hear nothing other than EDG glazing.
Huh? Told you. It's crazy you hate G2 like this.
I know. I know.
I'm gonna need 4 more of those though. And this hasn't just been the Kung show, right? And Chi-Chu's been an absolute monster. Nobody. I mean, you can list the whole roster.
He's 16-5. He was 15-5 in the first half. Nobody actually not having like an unbelievable match, but in this map, he went bonkers just as part of the entire team destroying G2.
Okay.
They have a potential to collapse on them here in sand. Oh. Leaf would have been gifted a freebie.
Oh, they're going for it. Having a little swing on this one. Trent with utility, gonna do well. It's a 3v2. This is the advantage they haven't had in a minute. Just give Chi-Chu stingers. Oh, Chi-Chu. Are you going to do this on your own? A 1v2, no spike. Got Jonah P looking like he's nervous as hell up towards heaven, and I would be as well. There's no way he's going to find a fair fight. Oh my god! G2, it's all on your shoulders. Close it out. He can't. Trent extends play for another round.
Nice try. Nice try.
To what end? To what end? You struggle against the relentless void. The cosmic abyss calls towards you. There is a black hole in front of you. The heat death of the universe inexorably approaches, and yet you resist? For what, Trent? For what? I know that they're pro players and you have to take everything one round at a time, but this is not lock-in. This is the Swiss stage of Masters Bangkok, and I've seen it written. It's the G2 comeback is not happening.
Oh my god, God, stop it! He got a headshot as well. I'm terrified of this team. They have nothing and they're making it look so much more deadly than it should.
It's the confidence and the individual ability. It seeps through everything they do, every round they play. I've never seen them play scared, actually. I think that's a really important point for EDG. I don't know what it would even take for them to get to that point. I think they've just got the personality, especially coming out from Kankan, to just never be in a spot like that.
Again, with the Kankan thing, it feels almost infectious, right? He brings up the rest of the team as well. Very much the rallying cry when needed, but again, another extension. The void is avoided for another round. Thankfully for us to get to witness more.
It does give us an opportunity to show what EDG are going to be cooking on their attack side with this composition.
That's true.
You know, normally, I felt like their previous comp where they would run the fade had a lot of natural synergies to be able to, you know, throw a prowler, allow Kankan to slide in off the back of it too. The breach is great for sending Kankan up. Teho, not as natural. Not that it stopped them at all on the defense side. Kankan was still sending it in perfect synergy with his two initiators. Oh, that's so awkward. Ah, you know the feeling, don't you? You cross someone in the corridor and you can't get out of the way.
On your left.
No, after you, after you.
Yeah, the Brits struggle in those scenarios. Okay, EDG dragging G2 around this map left and right, but Jonah P
alone.
Oof.
Cage trigger. Decides not to commit to it. If he had more people with him there, Chishu could have been a target. You see how quickly and confidently he backfills the space.
And Chi-Chi wins it too. You can see why he's confident. Support comes in. You're never alone with this team. And they're on the side. Simon doing well. Nice. With his two, but it's down to Trent and Valen to try and keep this heartbeat still going. As EDG now with time on their side. Sit back in this post plant.
Trent is low.
You're right, confidence is still very much there. Doubled up towards Sand. Looking like they want to try and get a fight on this. G2's fallen, and G2 again, another step.
That's one of those moments actually where the overconfidence ends up punishing them. There's a 2v2 where they've got great post-plant control. They know that G2 are going to be swinging our rafters, and they just decide to go for the wide swing double peek and get punished for it. G2 are already posted on the angles. The problem is I have so much difficulty believing that they're not going to tighten that up at some point. And even in this round, it's such a beautiful fault line that comes through there. As Simon is throwing a cross-map fault line to be able to set up his lurker for a kill on the opposite side of the map. Simon's util. Yeah.
Golf claps all around.
I mean, that's sarcastic tone of voice as well from Trent. It's, you know, he's not genuinely believing in the comeback yet.
Don't ruin my illusion. Let me think they're loving it. They believe. Round by round. This could be where it all goes to pieces as well. Sheriff Stingers. And oh my George. What
the hell is going on?
You don't get to see George often, but that was certainly one, making an absolute meal of it. Trent, Valen and Leaf. Now at a numbers disadvantage, plants in, Simon gonna get away as well. Okay, but clearing sight, get a step forward, clearing dish. They kind of know, or should know, his post-plant positions and can hazard a guess at it, but they still have to dig him out.
Or they do just clear it before Leaf Gets his toes caught.
Okay, nice bit of stall. Starting to get a bit nervous now, especially with Chichu's reposition. Does get seen, but they're still making a go of it. Down to just Trent now. Is this how you go down with a whimper? It might
Nice!
just be.
Let's go!
EDG living up to their legacy with a monstrous 13-4, decimating G2.
They just took every other team at Masters Bangkok and put them on notice. This is the team to watch. What on earth was that moment towards the end there? Chaos. But a slightly anticlimactic end should not take anything away from the brilliance that was Map 2 and Map 3 from EDG. And the fact, if you scroll all the way back just to think about Map 1, that's the top of G2's map pool. That's EDG playing a composition that they've only practiced for the last couple of weeks, and they still push G2 deep into overtime.
This team is on to truly become legends at this point if they keep this up. Again, the context of doing this to G2 is the statement. Any other team will be on notice. This map pool, terrifying. The players on fire. There isn't a weak point to this team.
And also, you've got to remember the Chinese teams have that tape difference. So there's much less VOD review that you can do of them. They're starting to put out more as they go through Masters Bangkok. But for example, this was the first time that they played this new composition on Fracture. So you'll be studying this as you go forwards. If you end up, unfortunately, facing these juggernauts in the playoffs. But for every other squad, they didn't really have an opportunity to change too much coming out of kickoff. And I think you can tell in a map like this.
EDG were just so ready for the fast tempo of G2 and was so happy to...
I have to sleep now.